Welcome to the Crossroads Chronicles, a series where we bring in guest game masters to run a TTRPG of their choice. Our goal is to run as many different systems and show off as many different game masters as we can before repeating any of them. Thank you all for joining us for Season 1, Volume 1, and I am so freaking excited to announce our first GM, our Master of Souls, Kaz. Please introduce yourself. Tell us what we're playing tonight.
All right. Hi. My name's Kaz. You can also find me on Twitter at the Mini Arcanist. That is my sort of rep brand, whatever. Okay, this is already going bad. We are going to be playing Soulbound. It is a Warhammer Age of Sigmar roleplay game. I am very excited because it kind of melds my love of miniatures and my love of TTRPGs and puts them all in one very nice little box. Your screen, basically. Yeah, it's going to be really fun. It uses only D6s. It has a really cool system where everyone is part of a binding, and with the exception of our one Stormcast that is already bound to something. And I am very stoked to kind of, I don't know, raise hell against these players. So yeah. Speaking of which, this is called Hell of a Night. It is a one-shot, and I am very excited. Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Moss.
Hi, I'm Moss. I also go by Jaden, and I'm going to be playing Altea.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I will be playing Vi. She's a hag priestess.
Hi, I'm Doug. I'll be playing Captain Alistair the Typhoon.
Hi, I am Candace Magnificent. I will be playing Ember Lothnir, a Duwarden Fire Slayer that's also a Dune Seeker.
I am Carrie. I'm going to be playing Flora Evergreen, a Sylvaneth, aka Madam Tree. And without further ado, let us tell you a story.
Arise, Soulbound, and fight to protect the people of the cities of Sigmar, while the world beyond the walls is overrun by horror and death. The gods turn to you.
In the wake of the cataclysm that once saw the world that was drowned in chaos, Sigmar tumbled through an empty void, clinging to the last cooling vestige of his world, a fragment of its metallic core that later generations would come to know as Malice. Drawn to its gleam, Draconian, the great father of Stardrakes, came upon Sigmar and sensed a kindred spirit. Reviving Sigmar with a warming breath, Dracotheon, my apologies, bore the ailing god to the 8 realms. The coming of Sigmar was a catalyst for a golden age in the history of the mortal realms. Cities were founded and societies flourished, while Iserheim, Sigmar's glorious capital, bestriding his empire, grew mighty. Sigmar found other gods, drawing them to his pantheon of order. Each of the 8 realms was appointed a divine protector, and oaths of allegiance were sworn. Brugni taught mortals metalcraft, while Nagash imposed poor order on the spirits of the restless dead. And together, the gods brought prosperity and relative peace to all the peoples of the mortal realms. But even in this age of splendor, mortal weaknesses remained. The selfishness, cruelty, and pride of humans, Duarden, and elves caused cracks and fractures in the world. It was through these cracks that chaos slipped unnoticed into the mortal realms, and the worship of the dark gods had spread. Their whispered promises and insidious lies turned people against one another. Little by little, the cracks grew, and in this strife, the dark gods found a way through. The full wrath of the realm of chaos erupted into mortal realms. It felt lost as cities fell overnight in organized resistance, leaving victory after victory for chaos. Although Sigmar had abandoned the mortal realms to chaos, he had not forgotten them, nor given up hope. In his isolation, he forged a new army, a legion of heroes imbued with the cosmic energies of Sigmar Storm and Cloud in Sigmarite, an army of immortal warriors strong enough to stand against the might of chaos, the Stormcast Eternals. In time, Sigmar's armies grew so great that even the vast halls of his domain could no longer be contained. This host included not just his Stormcast Eternals, but mortals as well. Huge regiments of humans, Duarden, elves, the descendants of those who had fled Iserheim in centuries before the last realm gates to the Eternal City had closed. These warriors were determined to retake their homelands from the nightmare of chaos. The storm host charged into battle, calling out war cries. The long wait was over, and the forces of chaos would be slain. Time and time again, the Stormcast hurled themselves against the servants of the dark gods, and time again, another realm gate was opened. Reinforcements charged through, bearing centuries of anger and frustration as they descended on the battlefield. The age of Sigmar had dawned. Hope, fleeting though it was, came to the mortal realms for the first time in centuries. The cities of Sigmar began to grow around reclaimed realm gates, and civilization, however small, began to return. The God King represented chaos with the first unified effort at resistance in an age. But a new foe had appeared. The supreme necromancer dispatched his deathless servants to harvest grave sand and use it in a ritual to create a vortex that sucked magic to the necromancer. The dead rose through the realms, aiming to snuff all life out. The God King and his followers now faced another force. He called upon his allies, knowing that the newly constructed cities of Sigmar needed to be defended, lest hope be lost forever. Once more, the gods turned to the people of the mortal realms to defend themselves. Once more, the mightiest souls and most powerful mortals of the realms are called together. And once more, arcane rituals bind champions of an ancient order of heroes. Now, on the brink of the unending age of death, the mortal realms need new defenders. So this is where we find a bird, astral in appearance, bright blue and orange as it streaks through an abyss. Stars whisk past it faster and faster until suddenly this creature is circling around 8 spheres varied in size and color. From one, golden hues stream from it, almost difficult to look at. From another, the bird's eyes, an amethyst glowing sphere, dark in appearance, sucking away at the stars around it and leaving nothing but a void. The bird, fearful, turns its gaze away and begins to fly towards the realm across the golden one. Its wings begin to burn like that of a phoenix, and it dives straight into this red, angry, tumultuous realm, where suddenly it glides into a bright blue sky. Beautiful, dry, rolling grasslands drift below as this bird flies south in direction, clearly on a mission. Grasslands turn into ashen dunes, which turn into volcanic mountain ranges belching smoke. Eventually, the land turns barren again, and up ahead, as the sun begins its descent below the ground to allow the moon its respite, a city appears. Wicked spires sprout from a sea of golden white, and a dust storm provides a backdrop in the distance, and there are airships floating over it. This bright bird flies past the throng of people gathering around the gates and into the city of Brightsphere. Brightsphere resides in the realm of fire, one of the 8 mortal realms. It is here in this realm that the God King Sigmar launched his first strike against the dark gods. It is here in this realm that chaos has ruled for a long time. And it is here in this realm we find a group of special individuals who possess a great power together, and they are mostly chosen servants of the gods and guardians of the mortal realms. It is here in this realm we find our Soulbound, as this bird drifts down into the crowd to perch against the golden armored shoulder of a Stormcast and her very strange group. Moss, do you mind introducing your character, please?
Yes. So this bird, whose name is Comet, by the way, is perched on, like you said, this sparkling, shiny gold armor. Armor that is far more dazzling than the person who's actually wearing it, as this person may be over 7.5 feet tall. You've never seen such a large person seem so small, as if they don't want anybody looking at them. Altia has black hair that just sort of sits right above shoulders, and bangs that sort of brush past her forehead. She's got really striking blue eyes, and her ears are full of piercings, which is surprising considering her overall demeanor. But when Comet comes to land on her shoulders, she absentmindedly goes to, scratch his little feathers on his head. So that's Altea.
As the Stormcast leads this very sort of ragtag looking group of individuals. You are sort of pushing through the sea of people who look very sort of mournful and respectful as you pass them. You are all here on behest of the cities of Sigmar. Brightspear is the newest constructed city in the realm of fire, and it is currently in the midst of celebrating its festival of memory. That is an annual celebration that lasts from sundown to sunrise and combines solemn remembrance of the dead, especially those lost in the past year, with celebration of the lives that ended and those that continue. And as you're sort of walking through this space, you begin to make your way to what is known as the Fallen Spire. And why don't we have everyone else introduce their characters, starting with Kelly.
Vi is a tall elf, spelled A-L-E-F in this game. She has really long blonde hair. She is a hag priestess for the Daughters of Cain. As such, she is dressed much like many of them in ceremonial light armor, which is not much more than the appropriate straps for bare modesty. She has a crown upon her head that signifies her priest position, although now as a soulbound, she's given up much of her ability to function within the hierarchy of the Daughters of Cain. So she's a little bit on her own to figure out what that actually means. She's always been a studier of the miracles and the deific powers that the deities bring and bestow upon people. And as such, she is actually fairly capable in that regards. She is found herself amongst this group of ragtag individuals as such, and is still trying to find her place. Worshipping the deity Cain, who is the god of murder, she wonders how that's going to go.
Fantastic. Doug, do you mind introducing your character?
Yeah, Captain Alistair the Typhoon is an elf, a corsair. He, at one point in time, had a fairly savage reputation on among other airship pilots, captains. He was wont to, pillage a bit. And but by the time the rest of this group meets him, he's been just a sort of a ferry captain for a while. And if you remember him from the ferry, from the airship, you'll remember he was very tall, very lanky. He was wearing very dapper clothes. He had long, straight black hair and a long black beard that was done in braids. And he clearly had a high opinion of himself. And now, though, what you see is essentially a skeleton in fine clothes. He's maintained the sort of sense of dashing wardrobe. He's dressed all in tight black clothes, and they're so tight because there's so very little of him underneath them. When you look at him and you stand close enough, you see that he's almost skeletal. He was burned very badly in the accident that brought down the airship, and did not become bound necessarily. It wasn't his idea. But in the moments before he died, in the throes of pain and agony, he accepted the gift of being soulbound, and is now with these guys. If you could see underneath the beaded veil that he wears, you would see that his face is just a red mess close to a skeleton.
It's a terrifying image. Carrie, do you want to introduce your character?
Yeah, Flora is 9 feet tall, a little over 9 feet. Basically a giant tree person. You see like thick bark acts as armor over her forearms and like her shins, and her head, like branches come up and sort of like antler like appendages kind of stretching up. That's where the extra like foot or two kind of comes from, is these antlers just stretching out. And she has one really thick piece of bark kind of like rolled up, almost like a tree knot sort of, at one shoulder, with branches kind of coming off of it to act as like a singular shoulder guard of sorts. And underneath that bark, you know, like how you kind of like can pull the bark off a tree and see the inside of it, you can see that is like what her skin looks like. And there are different runes all over as well, and they kind of have a little bit of a glow to them. And there are a few like autumn looking leaves on some of these branches, a few different greens and oranges. And that is Flora.
9 feet tall is like ridiculous, but and then we go to our not so short last member of the party, certainly not least. Candace, do you want to introduce the character, please?
My character's name is Ember Lothner. I am a Duwarden. I was found about 60 years ago, a foundling, and adopted by some fire slayers that took me under their wing. And I'm 4'9", so really killing it with the height. Very tall, mind you, for a Duwarden. Super duper muscular. Very, very stacked and broad. I have gold runes kind of inscripted all over my skin, so it's like this metallic kind of gold ink all over my body that I derive some power from. I have kind of like thick, kind of kinky, coarse hair that's locked and kind of like back, and a really beautiful kind of like gold like piece on top. A big stretched ears and a pierced septum, and I've got like these crazy I got a huge battle like kind of throwing axe type thing. And Ember is just genuinely excited to be here. Really pumped to go on this adventure with their homies. So
keep in mind, you all, it has probably been at least 4 months since the binding has happened. So you're getting comfortable with each other. You're sort of getting to, know people that you are now stuck with forever a little bit better. But it's still a little bit of an uncomfortable experience with people that you don't really know that well. So you all are sort of here. The Festival of Memory is taking place. There are hundreds of people in the city, some of which who have traveled to Brightspear just to celebrate this festival. There are games that people can participate in, and there are sort of private memorials that are taking place as you walk down the street. You are making your way over to the Fallen Spire. It is where the largest ceremony in Brightsphere will be taking place. To sort of give you an idea of Brightsphere, Brightsphere is it is built on the ruins of an ancient city. It is only been recently resettled by people who followed Sigmar here and have made their space. It has 3 tiers. So there's an upper tier, a lower tier, and the new city tier. The upper tier sort of sits on this large plate that is built around the central sphere of the city and slowly rotates to sort of match the movement of both the moons across the sky. Furthermore, there's then the lower tier. It is directly beneath that plate that holds up the upper tier. And then almost constantly in shadow, and you can always sort of hear the faint clicking and grinding and rotating of the plates above. There is the new city. It is the ever sort of expanding edges of Brightsphere. It is here that the ancient ruined buildings are demolished and the city expands, as all cities of Sigmar do, growing outward in ever increasing concentric sort of rings until it sort of engulfs a certain area. So you all are sort of making your way to the Fallen Spire. the fallen spire is a name given to the scattered remains of an old monument. On these vast chunks of masonry, the people of Brightspear inscribed the names of their dead. And they scattered their ashes to feed the small orange flowers that sprout from the stone there. Tonight, as you begin to make your way in there, you have been reached out to by a Iron Weld sergeant by the name of Mora. She has sort of asked you to come help her and her group sort of just keep an eye on the Festival of Memory. She is not entirely sure if there is going to be any sorts of threat, but a few of the people of the university, the mages and such, have seen a strange amethyst magic sort of, what's the best word for this? A strange amethyst sort of magic sort of flowing through the city. In strange areas, it's not all through the city, but they have seen it and it's not something that they normally see. So she has asked for your help to sort of just keep an eye on things, and if anything goes awry, to basically work your magic as a binding. But the circular space around the stones is full of people, from children to elders, and as you walk through it, it is lit by candles and torches. They're here for the official civic celebration of the Festival of Memory. They play games, they feast on candy, and they are privately remembering their loved ones in advance of the great service that is soon to be delivered by the devoted brother Andor from the wooden pulpit erected in the middle of this space, as you can see. It is here that you all sort of gather in this area and are kind of jostled around by people as you kind of just stand awkwardly trying to see if you can find the woman who has called you here. None of you have ever really met her, but she said that you'll see her when you see her. She sort of makes her presence known when need be. Yeah, I will open up the space for you all to sort of chat. There are games that you guys can play if you really feel like playing them. I'm not going to go through that, but there's things such as like Names of the Dead, and Chili Roulette, and Banishment. Weird games. At one point you watch these kids sort of playing this game where it's clearly a game of like freeze tag, but like one of them is meant to be like a dead person and the other is like the living, and as that like as this like undead begins to like scramble towards all the kids and like touches one, the other one becomes undead, and then they kind of scramble and disperse amongst all the living, which is just sort of a game that these kids are playing around you. Yeah.
The great game of 28 days later.
Yeah, basically. It's a very strange game. You're not exactly sure why the kids find this a fun, amusing game to play, given the fact that this is sort of where the catalyst of the necroquake has happened, which is where hordes of undead sort of rose and began to sort of wreak havoc against the city. So who knows why these kids are really interested in it.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I may have missed it, but why is this woman able to tell us to help out? What's her power? Like, by what power does she tell us what to do?
So she is a part of the Ironweld Arsenal. It's an innovative, industrious conglomeration of human and dwarven weaponsmiths. They've created some of the most bizarre and deadly weapons that have ever been built. But they are also sort of like a guard of sorts, some of them are, across the city. They kind of exist to be able to sort of guard. So that's kind of why she's called you here. You all kind of know that Brightsphere it's this it's this strange space where like it is the most recent construction of a city in Sigmar, and it is also probably the space that has had a lot of like controversy surrounding it, because it is where the Necroquake has happened. It is where people understand that there is some sort of very powerful force here, and the Festival of Memory takes place on the eve of when the Necroquake happens. So it is something that they are just sort of trying to make sure that they have defenses up in case anything does happen.
Ember sees these kids playing and hears about this banishment game and is immediately like, children, tell me more of your banishment game. What is this?
None of the kids are really paying attention to you, but you see this one who looks like a small like elf child, and kind of looks up at you and goes, well, okay, so one of us is the sort of like, the bad guy. We're like the little ghost, and the other ones are all the living people. And the idea is that you got to go up and you got to run and you got to grab them. You could tackle them. That's something that we decided to implement recently. And you could tackle them, and then that person also becomes a ghost, and then they go attack people, and then you win if everybody's ghosts.
If everyone is ghosts, that sounds like the mightiest of doom.
You can join, and then the kid just sort of like slaps a hand against your like bicep and is like, "You're now a ghost, so you have to do what I say."
Oh, a ghost! All right, hold this, and I hand my axes and stuff over to Vi. Please, madam, I'll be back. And I run like really fast after the kids, like, rah! And I'm only 4'9", so
yeah. But you like come in and you do that like sort of like roar, and all the kids like scream and disperse.
Yeah, I try to run after them to be like silly.
Let's say, what is the oh my goodness, what is the equivalent of like agility in this, or like?
There's athletics.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Will you make me an athletics? What are they called? Test.
Yes. So athletics. So I would do a body roll, which is 4 die because I have a 4 in body, and then I add 1 die because I'm trained in athletics.
Exactly.
Whew, I'm feeling so good. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So I got my 4 die and I got my 1 extra die.
And we'll say you just have to get above a 3 on at least one of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got a 3 or above on 4 out of 5 die.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
You are like lightning across the field. You roar, the kids disperse, and then like next thing they know, one of them gets like absolutely just like tackled as you like go and grab at one of them, and then you like stop, and then you look at another kid and you go run and you just like tap them across the shoulder, and they like scream, and then they sort of like look around like they're trying to figure it out, and then you're able to get 2 more in the span that this like kid who taught you how to play has only like gotten 1 of them. You are just like ridiculously fast, and you're like really good too. You're like kind of like dodging people as they're trying to like walk around. Meanwhile, there are some people who are just sort of like a little amused, but also kind of like, why is this person like playing with these kids right now? This is a kids game, but everyone is amused. So you're enjoying yourself as you're playing this game of banishment with these kids.
I'm trying not to like hit anybody too hard because I know that despite my small stature, I've got mad muscles. So I'm like touching the kids like trying to be like really
the first one you sort of forget your like brute size, and then you manage to like tackle the kid, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna back off now, and then like you're able to get the others very delicately.
I say, child, I have the most ghosts.
You get like head ghost. You get to be the warden for the next game, so you can like you could choose your next ghost, and then like we'll kind of go from there. Does that sound good? Do you still want to play again, or I could just give you the title of warden? You could be on your way.
My friends do look like they want to be getting on, so
I
will be the warden, and I will be back.
Oh, sounds good. Okay. The kid like sort of like holds a hand up to high five you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
High five.
Yeah,
I do like a really complicated one though that I like move the kid into as I'm doing it. It's like a really ancient like fire slayer handshake.
Okay. Oh, that was that's cool. Thanks.
That is the shake of my people. You will know it for next time.
Oh, okay, cool. Can I teach everybody?
Please, yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay. And they go around and they're like, that's the shake of their people. And they like teach one of the kids, except they've got like all the maneuvers down wrong. Like it's backwards. It's like almost just right.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Almost disrespectful. Not good.
It's like disrespectful, but then you're like, they're kids, you know.
They're cute.
What can I do? You know, what can you teach them? But you make your way back to the group, and you all sort of gather in the space. Before I kind of move the scene, is there something you would like to...
Here's your weapons. Why didn't you just pick one up and throw it? You could have taken out so many more at once.
Oh well, they are younglings. I don't specialize in the murder of anyone smaller in stature than Duarte. So.
Oh, you need not murder them. I mean, if should that happen, I guess they're weak in the first place. But how are they going to learn?
Oh, this is true. This is true. Well, we will have time to come back and teach them later if we do not meet our doom. Which you're very beautiful, and I hope that you meet a graceful one.
I'd rather not meet one at all. I have things to accomplish.
I would very much like to play.
Oh, you should play, Madam Tree. Children! I like wave them back over. This is my friend. You will call her Madam Flora. She would like to play your game.
In like a strange unison, there's like 4 or 5 of them that have gathered. They're like the ones that Ember has managed to like tap and make ghosts, and they go, "Hello, Madam Flora," all in like sort of like unison, but it's like a little creepy. You want to learn how to play? Okay.
Just this large nod, kind of.
Okay. So you got it, and they explain the rules to you again. As they like sort of like tap each other. One of them like gets a little too aggressive with like the tap to someone else, and then the 2 of them start to bicker a little. But you're able to sort of get the gist of what's happening. The kids are kind of like, "Are you diverting the warden status to the Madam Tree?"
I would never presume that Madam Tree would want a hand-me-down title.
Okay.
She too is a warrior and would like to achieve her title on the battlefield.
Fantastic. Then you're just warrior, and then you can achieve warden status if you like try hard enough.
I just like pat Flora's bark as I send them on their way, realizing that like they're 9 feet tall and could probably get like all these kids with their branches, no problem.
She probably could,
like,
yeah.
I just sit back like,
You know what? Make me a body and athletics roll as well, if you have anything in athletics.
I don't.
Okay, so just make me a body roll. You just have to get above 3.
You do have that special thing against the bulk number of individuals.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. But I got a success on all 4 of my dice, so...
Doesn't even matter. Because you're so large, you're like 9 feet. These kids start to run, and you just sort of lean over and just like tap one of them on the head as they're like starting to like leave. And the kid goes, "Oh, come on, that's not even fair."
Like the meanest game of Duck Duck Goose.
Yeah, it truly is. And you just sort of are able to just like, as you walk, you're like taking big steps. People are like sort of getting out of your way. So the kids are so much easier to find. And then you just like start to tap 3 more on the head. And at this point, the kids aren't even, they're like, "Oh, okay, I guess they're like not even having any fun any longer." they're like, "This was supposed to be hard. You're making it so easy."
You must learn how to dodge, children. Dodge.
But if I dodge, I'm gonna get a scrape, and then my mom will be really upset with me.
Like I start showing off my tattoos and like all my scars all over my body. I'm like,
"Oh." You just
this is what you can look forward to once you are grown and out of the nest. You too can be like me.
Okay, that's cool. They're all just sort of like looking at you, and then they look up at like you, Flora, and they're like, "Okay, try it again, but we're gonna dodge." And then the kids start trying to like dodge, like, but you're still able to get them.
I would like to let them them dodge, yeah, and just kind of like play with them for a little while, and then be
one of them sort of like doesn't even like dodge, but you still like let it happen, and they think that it's like the coolest thing in the world. Like they're now having the time of their life again.
Yeah.
As they've been taught this new trick. And as you're sort of like starting to like make your way back to the group, the two of you, your attention begins to divert towards a man who's beginning to step onto the platform, and you hear like the shushing of like voices to quiet some of the kids that are in the space, and you all sort of gather around one another again, kind of towards the front. You can see that this man who's stepping out of the platform, he's very stout, shaven head, human man who's probably in his late 20s with black skin and a crooked nose. He wears these elaborate blue Sigmarite robes. He sort of like clasps his hands in front of him, and as he does, that sound sort of echoes in this fallen spire, and he sort of clears his throat a little, and as he does, you sort of see someone kind of close to him who looks like they're kind of using some sort of magic to project his voice forward a little bit to be able to be a little bit louder in the space, because when he speaks, his voice is a little warbly, sort of like he's given a lot of loud speeches and has sort of lost his voice in the process. And he clasps his hands together and goes, "Greetings, my friends and accomplices of Brightsphere. I am the most devoted brother Endor from Domini University." And he begins a speech. This sort of just is like, we're gathered here for the sort of celebration of the people that we have lost in this past year, and to celebrate their lives and to celebrate the lives of those who have been able to continue into this year. And people sort of huddle in a little bit closer. You notice, let's see. Will everybody give me a mind test? And then if you have it, you can add awareness to it if you have any. Let's say you have to get a 3 on at least 2 die.
I succeeded on all of mine.
Nice. You succeeded.
Failed across the board.
Failed across the board.
Oof.
Okay, so everybody but Alistair has succeeded, yes?
Yes.
Oh, no. Oh,
Ember
no.
did not.
Okay.
I did not. I only got a 2.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Ouch.
I only have 1 mind die, so it's fine.
Oh.
I got
Oh.
muscles. Who needs brains?
Who needs brains? Yeah. Everybody else is the brains of the operation.
Yeah,
Clearly.
we
That's
have
all.
to have one
I don't need to know stuff.
Yeah.
muscle in the group.
You 3 who succeeded. So Althea, Vi, Flora, you're able to sort of see, as he's giving this speech, you see someone sort of shift in front of you, at least like a couple spaces ahead of you, and you watch as this person who has a hood that's covering up the majority of their face, but you see this person sort of like move into this area, sort of like a couple people ahead of you, and then like suddenly like looks back and like makes like dead eye contact with all of you, and she has like these bright blue eyes, and she sort of just looks for like an exceedingly like unsettling amount of time before her her attention gets diverted as the brother Andor sort of you hear him mention, your attention sort of diverts back into his speech as he goes, "And Cerebus, a respected scholar of Domini University." And then it sort of like dies a little, and her attention is suddenly enthralled on him after that sentence, as he says that. And it's almost in that moment where, like, Vi, you sort of sense, since you are the one most attuned to magic, you sort of sense this weird, like, feeling, almost like just around you for a moment, before suddenly you see this large clap of lightning that just strikes down in the middle of this podium, and it's followed by this streak of purple that just sort of electrifies certain areas around you. It like basically is like a lightning strike that just like hits all like areas around the falling spire, and and it's like in this brief moment, and suddenly Ember and Alistair, you are suddenly brought back into like noticing things that are happening around you as screams tear through what was a very peaceful ceremony, as you watch as these sort of sickly looking ghosts draped in black blue clothes and dragging chains that are locked around these bone-like arms begin to materialize from buildings and the air itself. And you feel this panic just start to ensue as people begin like rushing, pushing you back, trampling each other to get to the exit. And Brother Andor sort of like looks around, and he's trying to like control like people and like get them to stay in one place, but it's not happening. It's in this moment that you three who had seen the woman in front of you watch as she looks at all of you, smiles like really like sort of like terrifyingly, and then just begins to like march her way out and disappears into the crowd. At that same moment, you see this flash of gold beside you, as you see this hugely muscled Dwarden woman with sort of this warm brown skin and flame red hair, who's wearing this fine gilded armor as she approaches. And you kind of notice someone in the front who is wearing a similar armor. It's nothing like yours, Altea. It looks something that's more ornate than what the Stormcast wear. And she sort of looks at all of you and she goes, she's very strangely calm, but you could see the sort of anxiousness in her eyes as she's looking at you. She goes, I believe you are the ones that I messaged about. My name's Mora, Sergeant Mora.
Yeah, that's us.
Yes, you're the Soulbound, yes?
Yes.
All right, I need you to get Brother Andor out of here and safely escort it out of the fallen spire. And as she does, there's like this ghost that like rips past her, and you watch as suddenly there's like at least like 6 or 7 of these sort of strange figures beginning to make their way as a horde towards Brother Andor, because it looks like he's trying to cast some sort of magic up there. And she goes, can you please help him? And she sort of like doesn't even wait for a response, and then just books it towards the exit to try and get people to like orderly like try and get out of here. Yeah, what would you guys like to do?
I will immediately head towards
Sweet.
Towards him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you guys make your way over here, and these creatures, they sort of like are sort of, it's weird. Their movement is looking like as if they're a little confused, and then Brother Andor sort of like takes a staff that was sitting near him and sort of like tries to swipe at one of them, and it goes straight through their body, and then it's like all their attention is suddenly diverted onto him, and they begin to try to attack him. I'm not going to say, I almost said roll for initiative, but it's not that. But we'll start with the initiative order. I believe, Altea, you'll be first, because I don't think these things have a very high initiative. So, yeah, what would you like to do? As you watch, there's about 7 of them that are sort of, one of them looks a little bit larger than the others. He sort of has the scythe with him as well, but they're sort of like converging onto the space, onto Brother Andor. You can move and you can take an action, and then you have metal. And metal is what you can use to take further actions. And
Right.
You have a certain number of that, and you can only regain once per turn, so you might as well, as Kelly had said, might as well just use one at the very
Right.
least.
Okay,
Cool. You basically get 2 actions, and you can move. But movement isn't really as much a concern to me. I don't have maps for this or anything. Just use your imagination.
Okay.
There, you probably have what would be like a good sprint distance to the platform, but you wouldn't have any difficulty getting up there.
On your turn, you can use an action to direct your companion to move and take an action.
If you want to think about it this way, you get an action and then you can use your metal to get back to move.
Okay.
So.
Perfect. What I'm actually going to do is first I'm going to, because the enemies are kind of closing in around Homeboy. So
Yes.
I'm going to try and get Comet the Eagle up there, because I think he can beat me up there.
Easily.
So he has Celestial Strike, which means he turns into pure Azurite energy, and he deals additional damage. So I need to roll an attack.
Yes, you'll need to
Excellent.
roll an attack against him. Or against them.
I have
does it-
armor and toughness, and then I got, I think, attack stats. So
Okay, what are the attack stats?
So for like the melee, I think that's the hammer, right? That's average.
Yes.
The ballistics
Okay.
is poor, and then defense is poor.
Okay, so
Just
your
a bird.
yeah, the bird's average. This creature that you're about to attack is also average in defense. So you
Okay.
have to. So the attack is going to be equal, which means you have to get a 4 on one of your die, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. How? Oh, 3d6. I see it.
Mhm.
That's yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No whammies. No whammies. What do I have to get? How many fours?
Four or better.
4 or
On
better
any of them?
on any of them.
Okay, cool. Yes, I did
All
that.
all the ones you get add up.
Mm-hmm.
Like not together, but they add as extra damage.
Yeah, like
Okay,
extra
so
successes.
I got 2 successes total.
Okay, so is the damage on that? Does it say 1 plus S or does it say S?
It just says plus S.
Okay.
So 2.
So
2 damage.
2. So 2 damage against one of these. And it doesn't have any armor. So your bird sort of, your eagle, you sort of motion towards for it to go, and it becomes this like streak of just pure energy as it begins to strike through. And you watch as it goes through this creature, but it clearly does damage as like this burst of just like golden energy sort of emits from the heart of this. And the creature sort of like screeches and like looks around to see if it can find the bird. It's like scythe sort of like flails around for a moment. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Yes, I am actually just gonna go ahead and try and hit another one with my
Solid.
bow. So
Go for it.
For ballistics, I'm good.
You have good. So it's average, which means that you are 1 step higher, which means the difficulty number, you just have to get a 3 for an success.
Okay, and then my attack is body plus my ballistics. Is that right?
That seems right, yeah?
I have it. Yes.
Yeah.
Took me. I remember. It's very easy once I remember how it works.
Absolutely.
And what do I need to get?
3.
Okay, and I have focus. So
So you
that
add
mean
a
I
plus
can
1 to
add
one of your die.
to one of them. Perfect. So then I have 4 successes total.
Okay. So
Which is
you
5 damage.
So that's 5 damage. Are you going against the same one that the bird just attacked?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as this bird sort of begins to make its way back to you, the creature sort of like sees it, eyes it, looks over and watches as your bird comes back to you. Just as your arrow pierces through its sort of like neck area, and you're able to just basically one-shot it, and it is dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Then that is my turn.
Sweet. Okay, next up on the initiative order, Vi, it is your turn.
All right. So for my companion, since we've been together for a while, do I know who uses melee and who uses ballistic? Because it
Yeah,
matters
you-
for my spells.
Okay, you would. I think Altea only uses ballistic. Everyone else uses melee. Am I correct in that? No, that's right. Alistair.
Pistols.
Yeah, pistols. So the 2 of you use ballistics. Everyone else uses melee.
Okay, so then she will look around. The eagle has landed, I see. And she'll take her goblet, put her finger in it, swirl out some blood, do a quick etch on Flora's great sword there beside her, even if it's not drawn, as well as continuing and does the same on Ember's great axe. And that'll use one of my metal for the extra action.
Perfect. What does that do for them again? Remind me.
That will give them the Rune of Cain. It'll last for a minute or 1 use. So when they successfully deal damage, it'll deal additional damage equal to my soul, which it'll be 4. So it'll do an extra 4 damage.
That's awesome.
She will then move back few feet. She has no desire to go up there and rescue some old person that probably should be marked for death anyways.
Fair. You sort of do what you need to do. You're like, my work here is done, and you back up a little as the rest of your party advances forward. All right. Then that means Alistair, you're next.
All right, so Alistair doesn't get any closer. He's also very unimpressed with this fellow that's getting his ass kicked that he's supposed to be protecting. And knowing the capabilities of his compatriots, he just, you see him whip his red cloak behind him, and somehow it still smells like smoke 4 months later. And you kind of get that whiff of smoke as he pushes the cloak back, and he comes up with both pistols and fires 2 shots into the the bad guys floating around.
Heck yeah. Okay, make me. You said it was body and ballistics, right?
Yeah. So I should get 5. I should get 5 dice because I have 2 in ballistic training. And then I'll get to add 1 because I've got a focus in it too.
Okay.
All right. And then what do I need to roll?
What is your accuracy?
My accuracy. Oh, it's super awesome. I don't know. Let me see. It's average. I mean,
it's
super
average.
Awesome.
It's super awesome. Okay, so it's going to be equal. So you need to get a 4 above, 4 or above.
And any of these that's a 4 doesn't matter, right? Okay.
Any more than that count as extra successes.
Oh, snap.
The focus doesn't add a dice though, but you get to modify a dice.
Yeah, it's a +1 if you have it.
And I do have that, but I also have 2 in the training too.
Perfect.
So, yes. All right. This is awesome. So I'm gonna add 1 there. Dang, y'all. Okay. I got 3 4s, a 5, and a 6.
5. So 3 4s, 5 and 6. Wow. So it's 5? Dang. Okay. Plus anything?
No, I put my plus in there already.
You got it. All right. So that's 5 damage. As you sort of this other they're called chain rasps. They sort of fall down, and one of them sort of just makes its own appearance behind it and begins to move in basically in the same place that one had been. And you manage to get 2 shots, a couple shots in there, but it's still up, but it looks fairly hurt at the moment. And it just sort of screeches and it looks at you, and it sort of makes a guesstimation almost, and then begins to sort of look as if it's going to make its way towards you all. So you have definitely provoked it. Is there anything else you would like to do on your turn?
I mean, other than look stunning, no. That's all I got.
Fantastic. Your sort of cloak billows in the wind a little as this creature just screeches at you, and you can feel the breath of it on sort of close to you all as it begins to make its way. Flora, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Flora is just charging toward the direction of this man, basically just to get up and use herself to guard him pretty much. And as she's running up, the one that is closest to him, she says, "My spirit song is singing of your demise." And she will swing, and that will be one of her actions.
Fantastic. Okay. What is your melee? Is it average?
My melee is good.
Your melee is good. So you are 1 step above, which means you just have to get a 3 for a success on your die.
Great.
No way.
Well, so I got a 6 on one of the die.
And
I got a 1 on every single rest of the other die.
The GM curse.
I rolled 5 die. But one of them is a 6.
Okay. And then because Vi did some freaky blood magic, you get is it a +4 to one of them?
Oh yeah, it's a +4 to damage. I have a 2 plus success +4.
So 7 damage.
Yes.
Are you going after the one that Alistair hit, or are you going after one of the other ones closer to Andor?
Whichever one is closest to him is the one I'm hitting. And then if I can, I'm not really sure how this works, but I would like to use my medal to use a second action of basically just hugging him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Myself, like, just to close him into a tree. Tree hug.
I love that. You sort of come up and you slice through this creature. Its chains sort of go flying across the wall as it sort of dissipates. And you are able to sort of, as it's gone and you're in its place, you sort of move in. And like this giant hulking sort of like tree, you just sort of envelope like Andor. And you hear him sort of exclaim a little, but he like sort of just embraces it. And then you start to hear him start to mumble very quietly to himself. And you feel this weird like glowing energy sort of in like the like area of your what a tree's stomach would be. As it feels like as if he's beginning to cast something.
Does it feel like a phaser on overload? Does it feel like a phaser on overload?
Yeah, you know, it kind of feels a little bit like that, but a bit softer.
Yeah, and then she'll just like turn her head over to look at Ember.
Sweet. Ember, with that is your turn.
Ember has been standing there just kind of agog at everything and is kind of insulted that like nobody except nobody in this area except like my crew has seen me and is taking account. I know I'm small, but I still, have a big personality. So I'm very offended. And I dive bomb into battle. Is there one that's just like not paying attention?
Or
one that's like not paying attention to me anyway. I'm taking it personally.
No, there really is one that's not paying attention. Actually, you know what? Make me a mind with awareness if you have it. Roll.
Awareness. Come on. No.
Oh yeah, wait, never mind. Just make me a mind roll. 6? Oh my gosh. Okay. You sort of notice something interesting about this one creature that you're like, okay, I'm going after one that seems distracted. And then you're looking at it a little bit closer. And you notice that you realize they're sort of not trying to be super destructive. Like they're fighting Andor just because he sort of made a sort of move against a few of them, and a few of them have turned their attention, but this one kind of looks like as if it's trying to find an escape to leave the area almost. Like it looks like as if it's trying to find a path out of here. And you take note of that as you go in and move to attack it as it is distracted. What is your melee?
My melee is good.
Okay, so you have to get a 3 to succeed on your die rolls.
And do I roll my body?
Yes,
So
it is your body plus what else is it? Melee
Weapon
fighters?
skill.
Weapon skill. Thank you.
Okay. Weapon skill. I have training and focus.
The focus you only add a +1 to. You don't add a die.
Okay. So I didn't even need my +1 because I got a success on all of them.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing.
Yeah, so I got a 6, a 5, a 3, a 3, and a 5. So I'm counting all of those as 5 successes.
Yeah.
And then my weapon, I'm using my Warhammer. I look at it and I point my Warhammer at it and I go, oh no, death comes for us all. It is too late for you. And I go like rushing up to it or whatever, and it doesn't even know that I'm coming because it doesn't see me as a threat. No. And I'm just really mad. Like I'm real just cheesed off. So that is a 6 plus 4 damage from from Vi's rune magic, blood rune magic.
You sort of like come in and you say that, and it like it registers. It stops looking, it looks over you, it makes this like face of like alarm as it goes, oh, and it like just as you slice through it and it just like poofs. It becomes just like ash around the area. It like was thoroughly shocked at the fact that you had been attacking it. And you like completely decimate that one. Is there anything else you would like to do? There are currently 1, 2, 3. There are 4 more left on the field.
4 more? Okay. So is there a move that I can do, like intimidation, to get them to like turn their attention to me as an action?
Ooh.
So that everybody else, like, I don't know if it makes them vulnerable or distracted for everybody else, but I'm like, I'm on fire now.
No, yeah, absolutely. You could make me an intimidation roll if you want to. I would say that probably would go with, does that go with body or mind? I can't remember.
Or spirit, or soul rather. I don't know.
Or soul, yeah.
Soul.
Yeah, do soul.
Soul. Okay. 5. I got 1 success.
1 success.
Oh wait, I have something in intimidation. Sorry, I have training in intimidation. So let me roll 1 more die. 4. Haha. 2.
Sweet.
Successes.
So 2 successes. What are you saying to intimidate them?
So like I slash it in half, and I look around and I try to like see if anybody's looking. Hello, spirits! Leave this poor man alone. Leave my comrades alone. If you have something you want to say, I'm here. And I have like this like really like mean mug, and like my teeth kind of bare and stuff. And like I have this like, I get really like pumped. So like the gold in my Urgold tattoos is starting to kind of spark a little bit and like light up. And I like brandish both my weapons in both hands, and like I kind of just start pointing at him. I dare you to come to me. I dare you. Bring me my doom this day. I'm ready.
Fantastic. You capture the attention of a couple of them. They sort of turn to you, and they hear this sort of this like very proudness in your voice and anger, and they are immediately attracted to it. So 2 of them begin to make their way towards you, as you're able to intimidate a couple of them. But there are a couple others that are still sort of focused on Andor. Yeah. Is that all you would like to do with your turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get in my defensive stance, and I'm like ready for them to come at me.
Heck yeah. As they, that's perfect, because 2 of them are going to come at you and try to attack. So the 2 of them are going to come in and make an engulf attack against you. So that is going to be a melee attack. What is your defense?
Okay, so I am good.
You're good.
Mm-hmm.
So they are average. So they are 1 step below you, which means they have to get a 5, which is fine. The 2 of them both succeeded that. So that is going to be, 4 damage total, slashing damage. And just a reminder how this works: if you have armor, that is going to, what's your armor right now? 1. So 1 of that goes, so 4 of those go over, and that will eat into your toughness.
Okay.
Or sorry, 3 of those. So my apologies.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's going to be it for them. As they come in, they sort of like race forward, and you just feel this chilling cold as they just sort of like screech and just leech into you. It feels like almost like an ice shard sort of just going through your body. And then they sort of pull back, and they're just like looking at you. And they just like, they have these like just sunk in, like just like very long faces, and like the mouth opens up a little, and they just screech really loudly. That is going to be their turn. The last 2 are going to go after you, Flora, now that you are protecting Andor. And they are going to make melee attacks against you. You have, what is your defense?
Is average.
Okay, so that is equal, so they just have to get a 4, and only 1 of them succeeds, so that'll only be 2 damage, which your armor is like 8, right?
My armor is 2.
Oh, your armor is 2.
Yeah.
So nothing happens. You are sort of able to they sort of attack you, and you feel that coldness, but you just sort of feel that warmth of Andor's magic sort of be able to like sort of dissipate that chill, and you're able to sort of shake off that damage. That is going to be it for all their turn. So we're back to the top of the round. Altea, what would you like to do? There are 4 more left. 2 of them are on Ember, and then 2 of them are sort of on Flora.
Okay. First, I'm gonna use my celestial wings to raise above the crowd.
Yes.
So I think the book describes them as wings made of energy, sort of burst from Altia's like shoulder blades, and she rises up into the air, and she yells, "Flora, I've got your back." And so I have 2 metal, so I can take 3 actions total, correct? So I'm going to shoot 2 of them and send my eagle towards one that's on Ember.
Solid. Okay.
Okay. So my ballistics are good, so I have to get a...
They have average defense. I apologize.
No, you're good. So that's a 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Woohoo! I got all successes.
Nice.
So that's 6 damage.
Against one of them?
One of them.
Okay. That one is looking a little hurt. You've managed to sort of wound it a little, but it's still standing up a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and aim for the other one. And that one is 4 successes, so that's 5 damage.
Okay. Same for that one. You managed to sort of pierce both arrows into these creatures, but they still look like they're standing up a little, but you have definitely perturbed them. They're really not having it with you guys right now.
Okay, and then I'm gonna send Comet over to help out Ember. So he'll go ahead and attack one. It's 3d6. So his melee is average.
Okay.
So I have to get...
So equal, that means you have to get a 4.
Okay.
For a success.
So that is 1 success, and it's plus his soul, which is 3, so that's 4.
So 4 damage.
Yes.
He sort of, this becomes this just sort of like streaking, like it sounds like as if he's hit like the sound barrier almost as he comes in, and Ember, you suddenly watch as this burst of golden energy just strikes through one of these creatures. It had already been looking pretty hurt because Alistair had shot at it, and just manages this flame just sort of ignites this body for a second, and then like nothing is around it except like little sparkles as your bird has managed, as Comet has managed to sort of destroy this one creature in one fell swoop. Yeah.
Cool.
Is MVP.
Yeah.
And that is my turn.
Sweet. Top bird. All right. Vi, it is your turn.
All right, so there is 2 or 3 left.
There are 3 left. There's 2 on Flora and 1 on Ember.
And they are short range or medium range? Short range being like within 30 feet, medium being 50 to 60.
I would say the ones on Flora are medium range and the ones on Ember are short range to you.
All right, so she will try something different. Once again, reaching into the goblet of whatever liquid it is, but some of it being some of the blood of the Soulbound for added effect, she is going to attempt to do a blood binding on those and try to restrain them.
Yeah.
Let me just double check. So many things.
I know, there's so much to consider.
No metal needed. All right. As it is for restraining, it's halt the blood. You forcefully halt the blood flow of the target. These things may not have it, so I don't know if it'll affect them or not. And freeze their muscles. Target must succeed in an opposed body.
That is actually a good point about them. They are lifeless, so they would be. Yeah.
Will I know that? Probably.
Yeah, you would probably know that. So you
All
can
right.
definitely choose to do something different if you would like.
Yeah, all 3 of those actually have that as blood, so I'm reading that the same way. All right, so she has... Well, she'll do it this way then. She will sketch 2 different, really brilliantly colored red, blood red, so to speak, skulls of flame in front of her, and then send them out towards two of the ones on the dais. She is marking them
That's
for
cool.
death.
That is
Touch of
awesome.
death.
Okay.
I will use metal for casting 2 of those.
Okay.
That'll take 1 metal. And I need a 4 success on my devotion.
Yes.
So the first one is 3 successes, and then I got 2 3s, so I guess I can use focus on each of those because I have 2 focus, so that's 5 successes. So that one will be marked. I guess it doesn't really need that. It'll be marked for death for 6 rounds.
Okay.
And the other one, less so, but still 4 successes, so 4 rounds, which will mean that it is choose an enemy within medium range, make this roll. Target's defense is decreased by 1 step for number of rounds equal to my successes.
Wow.
So
they're
1 easier to hit.
Yeah, they are. I think they now sit at poor, so poor defense. So
Yes.
that's
So
good for everybody else around you.
and they're glowing somewhat faintly, so you know which ones are marked.
It's sort of like this. You said it's skulls that are sort of floating around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of watch Altea and Flora, you sort of like look as you watch these sort of like weird like mouth agape skulls start to come at you, and you're a little nervous at first, and then you watch as they sort of just hover above both of these chain rasps, and they just sort of sit there, and there is this sort of like reddish energy sort of emanating from these creatures now, as a sort of marker in some way.
Probably somewhat distracting them maybe and making them easier to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. They're sort of like looking up, like they're trying to figure out what's happening, and they're very distracted at the moment. So they are prime hitting material. Is that all you would like to do with your turn?
Is there a bench nearby? She'll sit down and just calmly sit and adjust and wait.
Yeah, there were benches for some people who really didn't want to stand through the ceremony. They're kind of towards the back. It seems very inaccessible for folks who want to sit. But you sort of sit towards the back. Meanwhile, there are people behind you just like screaming as they're still trying to get out of here, because like they still are like trying to find a way to like get out, and like Mara is having no like luck trying to herd sheep basically.
Yeah, and it's kind of a comforting sound. It reminds me of the temples.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's strangely, it's just so homey is really what that
sadly a
sounds
lot
like.
less blood though. It's
Yeah,
disappointing.
unfortunately. Yeah.
For now.
For now. That was fantastic. Alistair, it is your turn. What would you like to do as you watch Vi sort of cast this magic and then just sort of, walk over and sit down, and there's just a bunch of screaming people around you all.
There is a death's head grin underneath his veil as he steps closer to Flora and the two things floating there, and
It's actually it's modeled on, by the way, your grin.
yes,
Those dead heads. Yeah.
exactly. I love it. So he looks up and he sees 2 versions of his beautiful messed up face above the guys, and just unceremoniously just pow pow. I'm gonna attack twice, and that's 4 successes on one and 2 successes on the other.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So that is how much damage between? So 4 and then 2.
Yeah, 4 and then 2.
Okay, sweet. The one that takes the 4 damage, immediately your like shot fires through it. The skull like burst at the same time that this creature bursts, and it sort of.
Yeah, just remember, I think you only need 2 or better to hurt these things now.
Yeah, you do only need 2. Which is perfect. But as the skull and the sort of chain rasp dissipates, the other one too, Altea, you sort of turn your attention towards it as you watch these skulls. The skull sort of hover above it, and you're like, perfect, next time I get the chance to fight it, I'm going to. And like it's almost like you're readying an attack to get ready to hit it with your arrow, and then you just watch as like a shot rings out, and you watch a bullet just clean slice through that creature's what would have been their head once, and then it just dissipates, and the skulls are gone. Vi has managed to sort of help Alistair in the process of killing the 2 remaining creatures that aren't on Ember. So, but is there anything else you would like to do with your turn?
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and use my other medal.
I was gonna say you got to do it
and take a shot at the one that Ember's fighting.
Go for it.
And that is gonna be all 4 of those hit, or it's gonna be 4 points of damage, I reckon. I think at that point, he puts his pistols back in his coat.
Sort of done with your task. It is not dead just yet, but you can definitely tell that once Ember hits it, it'll probably be a goner. The thing looks like it's about 10 seconds from just trying to find a way out. It looks like it really has regret its decisions to come and try and attack someone. And you sort of just like, you kind of stand back a little, pistols back in, and you and Vi sort of just sit back and watch the rest of your companions figure out what to do.
Yeah, I just pat the bench beside me.
Perfect. Alistair, do you come join Vi?
Yeah, sorry about that. I had myself muted. Yeah, absolutely. He sees her pat the bench and just takes like 3 like super long steps over there, and of course does a flourish with his coat before he sits back down, and smoky air sort of just kind of comes up around him.
The 2 of you are this like weirdly like sort of mutual sea of red on this bench, because the 2 of you are dressed in very similar colors.
He also gives her like a tap on the leg, like yeah, that was awesome. Like that was good stuff.
Amazing. Flora, there you are sort of protecting Andor, and as you are sort of still sort of wrapped around him, is there anything you would like to do besides still protecting him?
I think I'm just hugging our boy, and then
hugging her,
and then just looking over, just kind of like watching Ember, just to make sure that like I assume they're not going to be overwhelmed, but just kind of keeping an eye.
Sweet. You're sort of just like looking around, and you suddenly feel him, like you feel a tap on like the bark of your like forearm. Do you sort of like open
just open a little bit and look down?
Do you mind, the rest of this process needs to be done looking out at the spire?
Oh, of course. And I just
thank you, you're very kind. It's very warm in there. You should think about ventilation. And he sort of like steps out, and you watch as he begins to wave his hands around, and there's this sort of blue energy that sort of comes out from his hands, and you watch as this like dome begins to sort of grow, sort of in the center of the fallen spire, and it begins to grow very slowly, but it looks like as if it's almost going to encapsulate a certain area, yeah, that's what he's doing at the moment as this sort of sphere, this dome begins to grow in this area. Ember, what would you like to do as you're watching this happen? And there's one last, like, this train rasp looks like 10 seconds from bailing out. Like, it's definitely looking around at the exits and trying to figure out its best plan of attack right now.
So I kind of look at it, and I brandish my weapon once more. And I laugh, like, really heartily at it and its panic. And I say, regret. That's a fool's errand. You meet your doom. You rise to the occasion. And I kind of just like swipe at it, like just not even really caring, just like really haphazardly, like to try and shoo it away with my axe.
Perfect. Yeah, please make a melee attack if you'd like to.
Oh, I forgot. I have one extra. 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. Yeah. So that's just.
So then I have my damage, right? So 3. Do I still have my +4, or is that gone?
I don't believe so because Vi didn't concentrate on it.
Cool. So I do 4 damage.
Okay. It's okay because that's really all it takes for this thing. As you sort of just like are like be gone sort of like motion and like you just slice through it. And it like looks at you like as if it's like, oh, okay, this is the perfect opportunity. And it goes to like turn itself away. And then it's gone. Like you just slice through it. And it just sort of like, it's this little ash and like little dust cloud for a second. You all watch as sort of you can see now that your attention is diverted from the battle and you've managed to get the majority of this horde that existed. You look up as you can hear sort of screeching above you that's sort of mingling now with the screams of the people trying to get out of the space. And you can see now that there are still like creatures sort of just like there's these undead that are starting to just sort of materialize out of thin air still. But Brother Andor sort of like begins to cast this wider and wider dome, and you watch as it grows bigger. There are those that sort of get stuck in the dome, and then you watch as they just begin to hit the side of this dome, like unable to get out. And he begins to cast a wider and wider dome, and it's this bluish energy that begins to sort of emit until it is fully encapsulated the fallen spire, this sort of circle area. And you watch as sort of there's just these sort of ghost and specters sort of just hitting against the side of the, like almost like as if they're just trying to find a way to get out, like kind of like moths drawn to flame but don't know any better, and they're just hitting against the sides. Some of them like they hit for a long time and they just sort of disappear, like as if they've caused enough damage to themselves. But it seems as if he has managed to somehow trap all of them at the moment, and you guys sort of are in this sort of quiet as the yells of people around you are starting to dissipate, and you see Mora sort of like come into the dome like out of breath, and she sort of like looks at all you and she holds a finger up and she breathes really heavily. She's like, oh, okay, it's like hurting nothing I've ever heard it out there. Is everything okay? Is brother Andor, are you fine? And he goes, I'm fine. I got strangely hugged by a tree, and he sort of like looks over at you, Flora, and he bows a little. My thanks, sister tree. I appreciate it.
Madam Tree is fine.
Oh, madam, my apologies. He sort of bows again.
I think that's one for the records. Getting hugged by the tree instead of the tree hugging.
Yes, I believe so. Mora sort of looks at all of you. She goes, I'm not sure what's happening. I saw a figure who looked like as if she was guiding these specters out of this area. I wasn't entirely sure. I couldn't get to her in time. I couldn't get a good glimpse at her. She was wearing a hood. But it seems as if these creatures are going somewhere. They're kind of attacking some people, but they seem to be going down to the lower tier of the city. Not entirely sure what that is about. Yeah.
Should we follow them? Is that what you're asking of us?
Andor looks at all of you and goes, we can meet you down there. Do you want to go on ahead? It seems they have a path. I heard some of them saying something, but I couldn't understand it, but it does seem as if they're, and he sort of points, and you suddenly see, it's like this weird, like, it's almost like a swarm that is just sort of pressed against the side of the dome that is trying to get out of the spire and down the streets. And he goes, it seems as if they're trying to get down to the Bastion district. That is where the university is located. I'm not entirely sure why they would be trying to get down there unless there's something that's happening that we are unaware of. We have seen strange magic sort of in the area recently, but I didn't think that there was anything of it. But it seems that this amethyst magic is, and he sort of points around and he goes, can any of you see that? Never mind. And he goes, do any of you have witch sight? No, okay. And he goes, you could see it. It's sort of flowing off of these creatures, and it's a sort of guiding path.
That sounds like quite an annoying thing to see.
Yes, it is actually very annoying. There's different types of magical auras that I can sense, and it's honestly, it's heavy on the eyes. My eyesight is really given. Yeah. It's not
Is that
great.
the same color as the woman's eyes?
The woman's eyes were sort of like a purplish blue, more bluish, but there was like sort of this purple to them that you did see as she sort of looked at you a little bit longer.
I wonder why she would have summoned them here. Why not just summon them where she needed them?
She? Oh, Mora goes, the woman that you're talking about, the one who was guiding me.
Yes, the one with the blue eyes.
I'm not entirely sure. I almost wonder as if maybe the ceremony that Brother Andor was putting on might have been a sort of a place of power to be able to draw from. We're not entirely sure. I should go investigate other areas of the city. If you all would like to follow Brother Andor, he can lead you down to the university and we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Does that sound good to everyone else?
Let's not waste time.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Great. Aren't you supposed to be? She kind of points to you, Altea, and goes, "Aren't you supposed to be like bossing them around and telling them where to go?"
Me?
Yeah, you.
Isn't
that why you're with them?
I don't really like to be the one who makes decisions about things. Yeah. Anyways, thanks. Goodbye.
Altea is a very good leader.
Oh, okay. I don't think leaders let other people boss them around, but that's just me.
I just turn and follow.
Oh, okay. Very well. Andor sort of like chuckles a little and like follows after you all. And he goes, he sort of like, he does this like little like it's like an old man jog as he tries to get up there. He gets up to you, Altea, and he goes, I can lead the way. We could try to make ourselves get through the throng of people. And you guys sort of get out of the dome, and immediately you just hear the yelling of people all around you as like chaos is just ensuing. And he goes, follow me, we can get down to the lower tier. And he begins to make his way down that way.
Is that globe following us that has all the ghosts contained?
No.
I could just see that following him around like a balloon.
Yeah, it would be funny if you guys were just walking in this little bubble, but no, you guys step out of it as he sort of guides you down to the Bastion area, the lower tier, and you guys step out of it, and it's almost like your ears pop when you come out of when you like an airplane hits a certain area, and then like sort of your ears pop from that like elevation change. It's like that, and then suddenly there is just the chaos of yelling and screaming, people yelling out names for others. There is a woman sort of like yelling out her child's name, trying to find her child, and you see the child sort of like trying to rush through like the crowd to get to her, as Andor sort of leads you very hurriedly down the steps of the fallen spire and down. It becomes quieter where he leads you. It's almost like as if he knows the like sort of the back alleys to be able to get to the place without almost being seen, really. He begins to sort of push through the crowd and then enters this alley that becomes very quiet and dark, and he leads you down the these sets of stairs that begin to sort of spiral their way down, and there's like doors near you. There's enough for at least, well, I'd say on an average sort of humanoid size, like average sized people, that would be able for like 3 people across. For some of you it's more like 1 person or 2 across, but like Vi, Alistair, and Ember, you're able to sort of be next to each other as you're walking down, but like Flora, you need your own space, and Altea, as your wings are sort of still radiating out, you need your own space as Andor sort of guides you guys down. You all, this winding staircase begins to sort of, it almost seems like the area around it becomes a little bit like like greener in its own, like it's dark, but there's like this weird green like energy that's sort of like going down lower and lower. And eventually this alleyway sort of breaks out into this space where there is even more like people jostling one another. And you see there's this panicked crowd trying to get into like areas that seem to be like taverns that have now closed their doors. To the far end, you sort of see a tavern, like someone like yelling out of a tavern that looks like as if she's trying to like ask for help. She says something very indiscernible, like that says like, you know, she says something along the lines of like, you know, the beer is haunted or something like that. You're not entirely sure what that means, but she is yelling that, and people are not around that, but there is this sort of like panicked crowd that's almost turning into a sort of like frenzied sort of like riot almost around people as they're trying to get into this tavern. Someone takes like what looks to be like a stake of some kind, like a rake, and tries to slam it into like the glass to try and get in. As you see and you look above, you can see this disc that is sort of from the upper tier kind of cascading down on the lower tier to make it really dark. And you can see, like, not very well, but you almost see like blurs of like dark energy like sort of sliding past. At one point one like darts down and you can see as it becomes that like sort of wraith-like appearance of the chain rasp that you had seen, and it dives down and then goes back up. Doesn't look like it hurt anyone, but it looks like they're almost like towards the top, and then you watch as they begin to turn towards an area that Andor is beginning to lead you towards. Yes, Vi.
Brother Andor, if they used the emotions of the people in the square to summon these things in the first place, what was all this panic? Would that generate more of these?
I actually believe that it's more what I was doing. I was doing a sort of a ritual, a celebratory ritual of sorts, and I believe that the names that I was calling upon must have triggered something to cause these creatures to be able to form. It looks as if maybe they're coming from other places too, other ceremonies that have taken place around the area. I'm not quite sure. I don't really know what. Did you all manage to see at any point maybe something that triggered that woman's flight or fight or something like that? I don't know. Did she seem to recognize a name from anything that I was listing out?
She did turn at one point, but I don't remember what that point was.
Oh.
She locked on to what you were saying.
I was going to say, you
theology,
could roll
sorry.
Theology, or everyone else can roll. Well, actually, it would only be Flora and Altea. You two can roll a... Let's do... Oh, gosh. I don't know what to do. I would say either lore, or if you really want to try, you could do awareness again for this.
I'll take awareness.
So what's the main stat we're rolling with that?
Mind for
Mind.
awareness.
Gotcha.
Is it not mind for lore?
Lore as well, yeah, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Hobby.
No, you're good.
Theology as well.
What do I need to get?
To remember something like this, let's say you need to get above a 3 in this instance.
Okay.
Oh,
It's 5 and 4.
Oh, you're good.
I have 3.
Okay. You too, Carrie?
I got 1 success.
Sweet. Flora, you have a hard time remembering, and you're like sort of sounding it out as you're sitting there, you're like something. And then Vi and Altea, you sort of like it, like that, like sort of triggers something, and you go and you look at each other and you go, Ceramus. That was the name that you guys had heard.
Ceramus. With an M.
M.
Got it. Yeah. Who is Ceramus?
Oh, Ceramus was once a scholar here at Domini University. She some say some of her practices were a little bit immoral, the way that she would practice her magic. But she was still a very beloved scholar. There's not much about her. She had died earlier in the year, which is why we were remembering her. She had been widely celebrated by the collegiate arcane, and really there's not much. She was just a bright scholar, but I mean her methods were not the best methods. She would definitely break some rules in order to get her way with her arcane ability, but she was a scholar that we had lost recently. I don't know why that name would trigger this person to do something that they have done. Truly, it's beyond me.
Do you know if she had a sister, the scholar?
No, I no family actually at all. I don't believe she had any family with her. Still left alive. No siblings that I knew of. No partner. Nothing. She's very She was very introverted and really enjoyed her solitude.
Would she have lived in this district then? Any connection to this district?
Yes, she would have. She actually had a room in the university. I mean, that might be somewhere where we could look if we think that maybe she's somehow connected to this in some way.
Well, the woman seemed to lock onto that name when you said it, and then after this was all done, she turned and she smiled at our group and then headed off calmly. So this was very matter of fact for her, almost like a distraction.
Oh.
Maybe.
Then we should probably hurry and see if we can catch up to her. I have no way of finding her, but maybe where we're going is where she already is. Come on. And he sort of like leads you through the crowd. You all hear the sort of like yells of people as they kind of fade into the distance as you guys walk further down. And this area is a little bit quieter where you guys have begun to make your way down. It's still sort of a spiraling, this is less a staircase and more it just sort of like leads down a cobblestone road. And it's gotten quieter, but you can still hear like the whispers and like the movement of sort of specters above you. None of them attacking you, but they all do sound like they're kind of heading in the same direction you're going. And it is sort of in that moment that you sort of everybody give me awareness. So your mind and your awareness, or just your mind in the case of Ember.
Would it have taken us about 10 minutes to get here, and would this be considered a breather?
Yeah, I'd consider it a breather. So that means that you guys can get back some toughness, right? I forget how much it is. Do you remember, Kelly?
I think it's all.
I think it's all your toughness? Okay. Yeah, you're able to gain back all your toughness. I don't mind. You guys are going to need it.
How do we calculate toughness again? Because mine is blank on my character sheet right now.
Yeah. It is. I think it's both your body, your mind, and your soul.
Oh,
3 stats.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Plus
all
you,
right.
yeah.
Cool.
And in Ember's case, she gets a bonus to that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
For that awareness, what are we trying to reach? A 3?
We're gonna say for this one, we'll say 4.
All right. I still have 3 successes.
I didn't succeed at all.
Okay, no successes. 3 from Alistair, 1 from Flora, 1 from Vi, none from Ember. 1 from Ember. Yay!
Yes, I got a 6.
Okay. Alistair, you being such the sort of we'll say pirate that you are, and sort of knowing kind of like a criminal underbelly, let's say, you sort of latch onto this immediately. Flora, Vi, and Ember, it takes you a moment. I'll tell you are sort of enraptured by like the amount of specters that are sort of like going back and forth. You're like a little alarmed, and Comet is getting a little ruffled, so you're trying to help out your little bird to stay calm. But Alistair, you immediately lock on to you see sort of like this movement in front of you, because there is this sort of crowd that has begun to gather towards this area that you guys are going towards. It's another tavern that no one's being led into. And you see this figure with a hood on, and you lock eyes with the figure, and you see that flash of like those bluish purple eyes for a moment, and then that figure turns, and you sort of notice it. And Vi and Flora and Ember, Vi and Flora, you'd be the most familiar with this figure. Ember, you sort of notice it just because of the way people have been talking about it, but you all see it as soon as Alistair's like head trains that way. And you watch this person sort of try to jostle through the crowd, and you see her trying to push through, but with no luck. Like she's having a hard time trying to get through. And you guys seem to might be able to make your way closer to her. It kind of depends. Ander has no idea. He's sort of like sitting there talking to you, Altea, as he's like sort of, talking about like the university and its founding and how it is a great joy of Brightsphere, and he is so pleased to have new scholars every year, and yada yada.
She's lost, but also too afraid to let him know that. So she's just, okay.
Yeah. Yes, it's great. Fantastic works. The most recent one, and that kind of dies down. What would the rest of you who have noticed this figure like to do?
Can we get within 30 feet?
You can certainly try.
I follow Vi to try to make sure that she has backup, because I don't really know anything about this person, but I don't trust them because of what I've heard.
Ember,
Absolutely.
Can you get me a little closer to that figure?
Yes, right. Yes, I can. And I just kind of start like scooching people out of the way and kind of being like, oh, sorry. And trying to just like be, like I'm short, so I know they're not going to see me coming, so they're more likely to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, and just get the fuck out of the way.
They do. They sort of part. They're like, oh, my apologies. Please let the young person through. And they sort of like let you go through. Vi, you're able to sort of make yourself. You do get within 30 feet of this figure now, if you would like to do something. Flora, Alistair, what are you two doing?
Alistair sees Ember like cutting a pretty good path, and he had already taken a couple of steps toward the figure. But seeing how bad the crowd was, he knew he was gonna have to kind of pick his way through. But then sort of Ember just kind of comes by with pushing through. So he takes up alongside, and he looks down at her and he goes, I'm not sure what we're supposed to be doing here.
As for Flora is thinking back to the game that she played this, a little bit earlier. And she would like to be prepared to just kind of reach over as many people as possible and grab onto this person should her allies fail to do so.
100%. You sort of people are moving. Ember, they were sort of moving out of respect for you, like just noticing you. Flora, they are sort of moving in the way in which they're like just trying not to be in like the stomp zone. Like they are just moving and parting. It's like the Red Sea is being parted. So like you just like literally start to reach your hand over. Vi, what would you like to do as Flora is starting to make her way over in its attempt to grab this figure?
I will call out to the figure, again, dipping a finger into the goblet I have and swirling an incantation into the air. By Cain's cold iron heart, I wish to speak with you. And I will use metal this time to double my devout discipline.
Okay.
So that'll be 4 dice, plus the normal 4 I get from my soul. It's opposed by mind and determination.
Okay.
Opposed by body and determination, because I'm attempting to halt their blood this time.
Oh wow. Okay.
So if they can, I'll roll mine. It doesn't say a number, so 4 I assume, and they are rolling body and determination.
Okay, body and determination. I don't think they even have. What is their body is 1. Okay, and they don't have anything in determination. I rolled a 5.
5 successes?
No, I rolled a 5 on. Sorry, I got 1 success. I rolled a 5 on the D. Sorry.
All right, I got 6, 6, 6, 4, 4, and I'll bump one of my 2s to a 4, so that'll be 6 successes. So 6 rounds they're restrained.
Oh my lord. Okay.
Which means they cannot move, and their melee accuracy and defense have dropped by 1 step.
Okay. You sort of reach out, and she looks over her shoulder as she sort of feels like this something like reaching out for her, and then suddenly she like freezes. And Flora, you go, and your hand just sort of like sits on top of her head. And she is glued to the spot. A lot of people are sort of looking at you all in like concern. Someone's sort of looking at you, Vi, and going, "What are you doing to that woman? Let her go." And then Andor steps up and goes, This is university business. Please don't mind us. Keep walking." And he kind of like pushes away the people. Altea, you have now been able to join and see what is happening. You see the very familiar figure in front of you.
There you go, Leader Altea. You may question them now.
How about okay, sure. And I guess she'll just go stand all 7 and nearly a little over 7.5 feet of her over this person.
You're a good 2.5 feet well over this person right now.
And I guess attempt to intimidate them.
Okay, what are you saying?
What is she saying? That's a good question. Probably just, who are you and why are you here?
And maybe why did she do this?
Do I roll for intimidation?
Yeah, roll for intimidation, which I believe is your soul, and then if you have any in intimidation.
Oh, you know I don't.
Oh.
What do I need to beat?
For this, you probably need to beat I'm gonna say a 5 for this one.
I have 2 5s.
Oh, hey, that's perfect.
Oh, she didn't even stammer. No hesitation. She showed this one through.
Absolutely. You sort of stand there, your arms crossed a little, and Comet sort of like leers over a little. He doesn't look like that intimidating of a bird, but they sort of like reach over a little. She looks at the crowd, this sort of group that is surrounding her at the moment, and she looks like she isn't going to say something for a second, and she goes, "It doesn't matter who I am. I am here to serve my master."
You serve blindly someone who would just leave you out here with the likes of us?
No, I am going to her.
Take us with you.
No.
I don't understand. She doesn't want us to meet. What's their name?
She looks at you and she just goes, "Master."
I mean, why would you not like to meet this master? I'm sure they would love to know more about your magic.
Well, they won't learn more about our magic. It's kind of a secret kept by our sisterhood. But we do need to talk to this person, I guess, if they're the ones that sent them to cause all this. What was her name again? Saramis?
The woman hears you say that, and her whole body physically twitches a little, like as if she's just slightly excited, and she looks at all of you and she just doesn't say anything, but you see her sort of eyeing. You guys are in this cobblestone road, and there's buildings beside to the left of you, but to the right there's this railing that leads into sort of just a deep pit of nothing. You assume the very bottom of Brightsphere, but you can't really see anything from where you are. She sort of just eyeballs it, and it feels as if she's trying to push against your magic vibe, but she's not able to.
Might have to hold on to her soon, Flora. I'm not sure I can hold her much longer. Maybe we just want to follow her.
Yeah.
Flora has like the palm on the top of her head right now. And like just certain vines or branches are just kind of like down onto her shoulders and everything, just kind of holding on.
She sort of like tries, like she's trying like really hard to move to get him off, but like she can't. And she just goes, It doesn't matter. Let me go. I need to get to my master.
Why?
Because she is going to open up the realm gate.
That does not sound good.
It sounds amazing.
And Andrew goes, that is most certainly not good. A very panicked voice.
Which realm?
For our undying king.
Not good.
Yeah, that would be bad. Does anybody else have a use for her? If not, I suggest we just kill her.
More blood for your cup.
Yes, indeed. Mother Cauldron always wants more.
Well, do we know where this master is?
I'm thinking down there.
Andor sort of looks at all of you and he kind of goes, I may or may not know of a realm that's not supposed to exist in this city, but does exist in this city. It's only known by some of very few scholars, Cyramus of which was one of them, that knew that this realm gate existed. So
this would have been wonderful information to have.
You know, it didn't, he sort of like looks very like panicked a little. He's like, I'm not supposed to tell anyone. I'm sort of under a contract to not let anyone know that exists.
Altea is just kind of gonna point up at like the specters that are flying around. Does that not maybe warrant a little rule breaking?
You know, you're right. It did. Well, I'm breaking the rules now. It's important to tell you now. It's yes.
Okay.
At the same time as he's saying this, this woman is pushing against your magic vi, and you could feel her slowly start to begin to like try and move. She's still like slowed a little by the like remnants of your magic, but she is trying to push herself out. And she goes, "Kill me if you must. It'll be another spirit for the realm gate."
Alistair pulls a pistol and puts it in the center of her chest and pushes her closer back to Flora.
What are you
Doesn't say
doing?
anything.
She looks at you, and she goes, "You should also be one more soul for the realm gate."
One day, perhaps, but not today.
She pushes against your weapon in an attempt to get away. She is going to make a we'll do athletics for this, which and we'll do this is not probably how this works. Opposed athletics like checks. So make me it'll be your body plus anything you have in athletics, and she's going to do the same.
What do I need to do?
So you'll need to get when we're doing it opposed, you just need to get, I believe, higher than she does. So she, on her highest roll, she got a 5. So
Dang, my highest roll, I got a 4.
okay. She pushes against you and sort of like pushes the pistol away, the weapon away. Flora, is there anything you would like to do as she's sort of like rushing away from you all?
I would like to sweep her legs.
Oh, okay. Make me do you want to make me a dexterity or do you want to make me athletics for this?
I don't have either one, so would they both be body?
It would just be body.
All right. What am I trying to beat?
Let's say a 3 for this one. You're pretty big.
I have 1 success.
Perfect. You manage to sweep 1 foot under, and she just tumbles down, and like falls into the cobblestone. And she kind of like looks back at you, and then she just looks over to the railing and like forces herself up a little, and then just like basically like pushes herself over the railing, to fall down. And as she sort of like, as you watch her, she just sort of looks at you with like this terrible grin, and she just goes, "One more soul for the realm gates," and then you just watch her body disappear into blackness, supposedly, most likely, very dead from that fall.
Well, that's problem solved itself.
Andor is just sort of looking, and he's like,
our leader has a particular way of solving problems.
You just let them. Oh, okay. Andor sort of looks very shaken.
All right, so I was trying to get in there earlier because I'm an opportunist. So anytime somebody tries to run away from me, I immediately get an attack.
Okay.
So
for S&Gs, let's just see, make an attack against her.
All right.
Are you shooting her or?
Oh, I'm gonna shoot her in the leg if I can.
Oh, gotcha,
I'd like to just shoot her in a non-lethal place just to make her stop, so we don't have to keep chasing after her.
Mm-hmm.
Can Vi just bump his aim so it shoots her in the head instead and gets it over with?
Dang,
yeah, you know what?
That's what magic is for.
Make me a dexterity a skill for test for that.
Okay.
I keep forgetting that they're called tests.
Yeah,
1 and a 2.
I got a 6 in my dex skill, and then for ballistic, what do I need to beat to hit her?
Poor defense, so you just need to get what is your accuracy again?
It's average, I think. Yeah.
So that's 2 steps higher, so you just need to beat a 2.
I just need to beat a 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do 3 harm when I shoot her in the leg.
Oh gosh.
Look, she brought down all that wrath on us, and we had to fight. I have zero there's zero sympathy for this character. I just don't want to kill her because I want to know where we're going.
Okay.
So like, if she happens to die, femoral artery.
Vi, did you manage to? No.
I rolled a 1 and a 2 on my dex.
So you go, and it's like a soft caress against like Alistair's like forearm as you're trying to reach for that.
Well done.
You're just trying to play it off. Shoots her like in the leg at the same time that Flora also like pushes her like her other leg out from underneath her. And she like, as she's like trying to like get towards the edge, like she's still gonna fall over, but she just looks at you, Alistair, and she just like makes dead eye contact as she falls over. Like it's almost she's like, this is your doing, and she like falls down down the pit.
A lot less defiant.
Cut it back to, well, that problem took care of itself.
Our leader has a way of solving them.
Andor's like, did I just experience deja vu?
Weird.
You did. By the way, it seems that we got more information from Brother Andor than we did from her, because he knows where the realm gate is.
Well, you didn't hear it from me, you heard it from her. I will, yes.
Take
I'm
us
pretty
there.
sure I heard it from you.
No, you did not. I apologize for not being more straightforward. It is something that only us scholars of the university are allowed to know about. If everyone knew that it existed, we would be having this. And he kind of points up to the like all the specters above, and he's like, we'd have this a lot more. I know it looks really bad right now. It could be worse.
Vi just takes out a notebook and adds another one to her blackmail list.
And I was like, are you keeping notes of some kind, or?
No.
Oh.
No concern. We should go.
It's her grocery list.
Oh, that's a very strange time to make a grocery list.
Our spirits in the sky. Can we go?
Okay. Andor goes, fine, very well. And he sort of begins to lead you towards the university. You all sort of begin to fill into this sort of area. It's gotten far quieter. The spiral has sort of continued down. There is no sign of the body, thankfully, as you're going down. You don't know where it landed, but there's no worries about it. As you guys are going down the spiral and eventually reach this area where there are these sort of wrought iron gates, and ahead of you, there is this large sort of like your like typical like sort of white tower looking university. It is very much looks like it's like there's no one around it, like very much gated off to the public. And Andor begins to make his way in, and he guides you all in one after the other, and you all make your way to the sort of the gates of the space. So you see, as you begin to make your way to the front of the door, you see before you a very sort of withered man leaning on this very thick wooden staff as he stares you down. And he looks even at like Brother Andor, and he goes, "No admittance." And Andor sort of looks and goes, I'm the most devoted Brother Andor," and he's cut off immediate as this person just goes, "Unless you're here to perform a ritual to help us with the undead, I don't want to see you around. No admittance." And he's sort of, "Well, shoot."
That is what we're here for. And just kind of glance over, like, come on, play along with me, please.
Oh yeah, Alistair nods fiercely. Look.
Yes, we're here to do a ritual. And Vi will do Warm the Blood this time and charm him.
Ooh. Okay.
So she'll
Everybody oohed in unison. That was wonderful.
So she will use metal again to double her discipline.
Does he have to roll anything?
Yes, soul determination this time. Soul and determination.
Soul.
4 is the target number again.
I can roll 4d6.
I love these dice.
So that is 3 successes.
I have 4 6s, 1 5, 1 4, 1 4, and 1 1. So all but 1. So 7 successes.
7 successes?
You stir the blood of the target and inspire desire within them. The target must succeed on the opposed roll or be charmed, and charmed cannot attack the source of the charm and cannot target with an ability or spells that would effectively negate it. The charmer has advantage in social interactions with the charmed target, and the target is at disadvantage. She does indeed have guile as well now for her requests.
Okay. So you are the only one that has advantage on trying to any social interaction with this. Okay. So you're all sort of like trying to be like, "Oh yeah, we're here for the ritual." And Andor sort of looks and goes, "Yes, we're here for the ritual. I did not catch your name." And he just the man just sort of looks at him and he goes, "No admittance." I would like you all to try and make, we'll say, for this.
May Vi step forward and do a little guile?
Sure, yeah. What does guile do? Does it like?
That is your talking people into things. Your fast talk, your lying, your deception. If you're talking D&D, so.
Yeah, if you want to helm this, I'll say everyone can roll. And let's say
not good.
Not good?
Not good.
You rolled a 4. Ember, yeah, you were trying to beat a 4.
Yeah, I got a 5.
Okay, 5.
I got 1s and 2s.
So you two, 2 successes, which means Vi, what do you do for guile? And then I'll say you can add 2 more d6 onto that.
If I remember correctly, advantage and disadvantage will just increase the step by 1 or something like that.
Okay.
So assuming this is opposed rolls, it's normally at a 4, so it would be a 3 success.
Okay.
My
3
successes
success.
versus his
Yeah.
probably soul, I think, is whatever
Okay.
it was he had to roll for.
He had to roll soul.
Yeah, so I'd assume soul
Okay.
versus guile.
Okay.
I have 3 successes.
1 success.
So she steps forward and starts running her finger along his arm and up to his shoulder, and she's stepping closer and around behind and whispering close into his ear. He's just doing his job. He's just keeping us out. So now that he knows that we're here for a ritual, I'm sure he'll let us in, won't you?
He sort of stutters a little, and he's looking at all of you as you're all eagerly nodding, like, yes, we're here for a ritual. And he's,
We have Brother Andor. I'm sure he'll take responsibility for anything that goes wrong.
right, yes, and Brother Andor, my apologies. I'll let you all in immediately. Just give me a moment to open up the spell to let you all in. And he sort of walks closer to the door, and you watch as he sort of like uses his staff to wave around for a moment, and you watch as these sort of glyphs on the these sort of they glow a little on the door, and suddenly it's like your eyes have opened like to something like anew as you watch this magic dome just appear in front of you, and you realize that this entire university is in a very similar dome in which like Andor had cast a spell, as if it's protecting. And you, as it glows, you look up and you see all the like specters sort of like piling in around here that are sort of just around the dome, just waiting for it to open. And Zabraxian lets you in as he opens the door, and you watch this little, like, it's almost like this little pocket open in the spell itself. And he motions you as quick as he really can, as his withered self, inside the door as he begins to open it. You all begin to sort of pile in into this door, and as you do, you feel this, we'll say whoever the last one of you is that's in, as Andor sort of clambers in, you feel like the sweeping chill over the back of your body, and then you just feel like the raking of like claws against you, as you all look and you turn to watch as the Braxian is beginning to close the door, and that dome is beginning to close. But then you watch as these little burnt like hands of like these like specters these bones begin to just sort of clamber into that last little open space of the dome that is open, that magic force. And then suddenly it's like you hold your breath for like 1 split second, and then the ward just rips open like a wound, and suddenly this undead begin to like force their way inside to the space. They flood through the area. You watch as this hall is just filled with undead, with these specters just sort of screeching about, and suddenly it's like it's here. You hear that mixed in with the screeching of Ceramis's name, and then you hear sort of like something calling like a powerful banshee or something like that, and then you suddenly hear the screams of like students and faculty in this university that are caught off guard, and shouted orders to erect arcane wards immediately again, and you all are sort of just like watching these figures just sort of sweep into the area like bats and begin to follow a path down the university hall, almost like as if they're making a beeline for something. This person behind you, the old man, sort of like falls down, and he's like yelling, and Andor sort of helps them up, and he goes, "Go, follow them, figure out where they're going. They have to be going to Ceramis's chamber." And he sort of helps the man up and lets him sort of rest against them, and he begins looking around the area and start calling for help, and lets you all sort of like do what you need to do.
Yeah, just take off.
Okay. So you all begin to take off down the hall. You are running at like the rate that you like, as fast as you can down this area, and you watch as they sort of crest a sort of hallway Then suddenly it's like dozens of them just pour in, while others are just sort of floating around this one like small chamber door. It's wooden in appearance. There's nothing really special about it. It almost looks like it's bent in a little, like someone pushed against it. And you sort of watch as these sort of this undead that had looked so frenzied, these specters frenzied for a moment, just sort of float around this doorway as if there's too many of them already in the room and they're just waiting for their turn. You all sort of begin to make your way in there.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right, Carrie. This is me getting back at you.
Yeah.
Who is going to go towards the door first, if any of you are even going to try and make your way towards that door?
Probably B.
Okay. Comet sort of on your shoulder begins to like sort of squawk a little quietly, very kind of scared almost. As you begin to make your way to that door, you feel like the touch of like hands against your armor and against Comet and your wings as these undead begin to just sort of like just stroke like parts of you that they can as you begin to glide through this doorway, and you open it a little bit, and you is everyone else following, or is some? Or
I will be. Yeah.
Okay.
I will.
All right. As you all follow, you sort of like have to. It's a hard time for you all to fit in there, especially given that one of you is 9 feet tall. But you eventually sort of reach this area, and it's almost like it's sort of like it's bigger on the inside that this area is. It's a very large chamber with like a couple different sort of doorways, and you see like hundreds of deep purple candles just burning to dripping stubs around a portrait of a woman with piercing green gaze. There is sort of like this area where they flicker against this sort of archway, and you don't see anything in this first room, but then I'll tell you begin to walk in because there's still so many like specters just sort of floating in this room, and you walk in and you're suddenly in this like office space, and it's almost like this sort of black envelopes your like eyes and you're not able to see very well, but then you blink a couple times and you see these sort of wraiths merge together into streams of glowing blue light as they illuminate through like islands almost of safety into this office. You see where magical sigils have been inscribed into like posts, and where they have been like lingering traces of magic that sort of divert these sort of ghosts in certain areas, almost like as if it's creating a river in the space of like undead. They flow towards the center where a flickering, glowing figure intones a ritual from the grimoire chained to one of her skeletal arms. Behind this banshee, you see a scrying mirror with deep black edges that looks upon the underground chamber, where a group of sort of Stormcast Eternals and collegiate mages watch over a realm gate, the space between the stone gateposts flickering with images of the bleak, monochrome realm of the dead. And you see this realm gate flickers a little, and you see this like just big, giant, like skeletal like face with a crown atop its head. And then you watch as this banshee sort of turns her head almost like an owl, like 360, like 180 towards you, and she looks at you and she goes, "More souls to grace the realm gates," and she just sort of begins to rub her fingers together as she looks at all of you. You also see sort of in another area of this chamber, you see another figure. He's very hunched in appearance. He has this like just stretched like gray skin, and he is just sort of conducting souls into of the dead into like this vivid blue flame brazier, and he's just sort of like pushing them with like some sort of magical force, almost like feeding this flame for some reason. You see in another area of the space, sort of like a couple of wraiths sort of chanting something. They look like as if they're almost conducting a ritual. Yeah, that's really all you see, as she just goes and looks at you again and goes, "You can't prevent this. You can't even save yourselves. Come now, just let me take your souls. And she is going to sort of reach out towards you. And we will sort of begin the initiative round. Yeah.
So I accidentally put us in the order of our initiative, and that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Wait, that's awesome. I love that.
I mean, I did it on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely on purpose. Okay. Altea, you're still first. But, yeah.
Okay. So the mirror is being used to see the gate.
Mm-hmm.
That's not where we are, right?
No, it's like, you're probably a good 60 feet from that area. Maybe 70, 80. You're a good ways away. It's on the opposite wall that she is at the moment.
I guess I'll shoot her. I don't know if there's a check for this or like a test to if I would know, but would breaking the mirror itself disconnect anything?
Give me a theology test.
Okay, okay. What do I need to beat?
So I'm gonna say for this you need a 5.
I rolled 1-6.
Ooh. Nice. It's less so the mirror that you need to disrupt. It's almost like as if it would just be sort of like this mirror in front of you, and more that someone's like using it as a conduit for their own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes. Well, in that case, I'm just gonna shoot her.
Okay.
I'm gonna move kind of to the side because I know we're kind of all in the doorway, and I want to make sure that like everybody has like space. Okay, so I'll shoot her twice.
Okay.
And I'll send Comet again like I did before.
Okay. Her defense is average, so you need to get above.
I have good
You have good
accuracy.
average, so 1 step higher. You just need a 3 or more to succeed. I will also ask, for the sake of it, is your weapon magical, and are your weapons magical?
So I have the Sigmarite bow.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Okay, cool.
I think.
Oh wait, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my first action to use Star Faded Arrow.
Okay.
So I whisper the name of my foe that I can see into my arrow. So then the next action, when I hit her, all of the damage ignores armor.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So we're gonna do that instead.
Okay.
Okay. So I got 2 successes, which is not a ton,
Okay.
but it's 3 damage.
3 damage.
Yes.
Yeah. You your arrow sort of like glows a little as you begin to whisper your name or her name into the arrow, and it whistles past through this sort of like river of undead that is like between her and you, and strikes her right in like the shoulder area, and she actually like screams and like reaches back a little, like, and looks at all of you, and then it's almost like as if she suddenly, like, the room grows a little darker, and suddenly you feel like the energy within it, you feel everything suddenly turn. It was already evil, but it is all like evil is turned against you and solely all of you now at this point. That did some pretty decent damage because, yeah.
Okay.
Reasons.
And then I'm gonna send Comet, and that'll be it for me.
Oh yeah.
Well, there goes a D6 forever under my desk. So I got 2 6s on his attack.
Okay.
I'm assuming a 2 isn't gonna hit, so that does 5 damage.
5 damage. Okie dokie. Comet sort of like whistles past all this undead, sort of is sort of stalled a little bit, like it's almost like as if he is having a little bit harder time to go through them, but breaks through, manages to regain a little bit of that speed and just strikes through her, brings those talons in, and then sort of rakes back at some of the takes some of the cloak that she's wearing, and it reveals sort of, you see this copper armor that's on like this like very empty looking like shell of a person, and she like sort of screeches at you again. Yeah.
Cool. That is my turn.
Okay, it is her turn now. She is going to, I'm gonna have her use her mournful cry. So you watch as this howl of like agony just sort of like echoes through this chamber, and you all sort of like instinctually bring your hand up to your ears. I need you all to make me a soul determination test, and you need to get a 5 on 3 die.
Well, I only roll 1 die, so I'm assuming that I failed.
So you all failed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Woof.
No big deal.
You all are frightened until the end of her next turn.
Sweet.
So,
Well, she's really scary in our defense.
she is terrifying.
She is.
I'm
She's
not
pretty-
scared.
She's pretty scared.
So, frightened. While the source of the frightened creature is in line of sight, you roll 1 less die for all tests,
Yeah.
No.
and you can't
Bring it on.
willingly move closer.
Yeah. You can't move closer. Sorry, melee.
No.
That's okay.
How-
That's
how-
okay. That's not my.
rough.
That's not even my intent this time. I got plans.
I
So-
can throw stuff.
How long does it last?
It's until the end of your next turn. So
Okay.
you'll have it, but then for those of you that haven't gone yet, it'll be done by the end of that turn. But for Altea, it'll last until you have your turn again. So that is what she's gonna do. Does she have any metal? She has 2, so I'm gonna use one to also use.
It's not fair when the bad guys use it.
No.
Okay.
Just remember, we also have soul fire if we need it.
We're gonna need it.
What can we use that for again?
Now we
Oh,
all have
shitload
1
of
fewer
things.
die. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right now it's not necessary. You could make an attack and or any ability, any check. If you use a point of soul fire, I think it's called, whatever it is, soul stuff. All of those
Soul
become
fire.
6s.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
For example. So if again on a really good attack, you could double your weapon from 2 to 4, add it to your build. That's your attack, and then make those all 6s.
Yes.
For instance.
Noted.
I'm going to have her use Arcane Blast, and she is going to. You watch as she screams and then like sort of stops for a second and then screams again, and you watch as this arcane like purple energy just bursts through the room. She is going to affect, since you're all in a similar zone, she is going to get all of you in this. You all are going to.
And all her minions.
So she is a
Only fire?
spellcaster. So she uses soul, right? As a spellcaster. Yes.
As a spellcaster, it's generally mine. The divine ones use soul.
Oh, that's fine. Then mine's higher.
Yeah. that'd be
Boo.
I actually don't have enough. Oh wait, yes. Okay.
I don't have enough. Oh no.
Come
Don't have
on.
enough dice is never something you want the game master to say.
I succeeded 3 times. So that means so it is going to be you all are going to take as this purple energy unleashes at you, you all are going to take 3 damage. Wait, 3 plus 3, so 6 damage.
Does our armor protect us from that, or does it pass our
Your armor only protects you as far as your armor can
Right,
go.
okay.
So since yours is at 2, it'd be 4 for anyone else. That is all she's gonna do on her turn. You all feel this arcane blast, and then it sort of like seeps away. You feel like just a little shaken as you stand there and looks at all of you. Vi, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I don't think I can do anything, right? I'm fear. I'm 1 less dice for everything.
Well, you're 1 less dice for anything. Doesn't mean you
Yeah.
can't do anything.
Yeah. So she will then take her cup hold it in close, bite her finger, mix it in, and call on Mother Cauldron for Healing Spirit. And she is going to use her second medal, because I assume she used the one earlier for a reaction sort of thing. So you use her second medal to ensure that she's going to get at least 4 to this.
Okay.
So she needs to roll 6 dice, and I'm looking for 5. I have 6, 6, 6, 3, 1, 1. I have 2 focus in it, so I'll turn my 3 into a 5.
Okay.
So that's 4 successes plus my 4 soul. Everybody's healed 8 wounds.
That is nice.
We're all healed 8 wounds each?
Everybody in my zone, yeah. So everybody kind of within 30 feet of me.
8 wounds
All
or
my
8
allies.
toughness?
Sorry, toughness, yes.
Yeah.
Whew.
I always get those mixed up. Because
I
it's
know, me
wounds at the
too.
top of the chart.
I know.
I should say
So I'm
toughness.
back up full again.
Same.
And she's out of metal.
You all feel very bolstered in this moment. And by
Probably 1 less dice, right? So 7.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
1 less die. So 7. I don't know if that makes a difference. Y'all are
No.
Yeah. I think 3 went over.
So that is like a mist, red mist, just developing up our area, landing on each of the wounds, being sucked in, and as it gets sucked into the wound, it closes the wound.
It's almost like this purple energy that is still sticking around you. This red mist covers it, and it's almost like as if it's like almost like a deterrent, and this like purple energy immediately seeps back closer towards the banshee. As Ceramus sort of like just like screeches at you again, Vi, and is like, "Why are you helping them? You should be on my side."
I'm out
she
for
looks at you.
myself, thank you.
Yeah. She just looks at you and she just sort of like shakes her head, and sort of looks like as if she's going to prepare to do something else. Is there anything else you would like to do for your turn?
No, she's good.
Okay.
She's not even going to move closer.
All right. Alistair, what would you like to do?
Yeah, Alistair just takes a couple steps forward and get the cloud of smoke rising from his coat, and then he just fires. Let's go ahead and use up both of my metal this round and do 3 shots.
Okay.
Now, what's their defense?
Are you hitting Ceramus or anybody else that's in the room?
Ceramus.
Okay. Defense is average.
Okay, and my so it's equal, so I gotta get a 4 or higher. Okay, and I'm gonna roll 4 of these guys, and yeah, I got a 4 and a 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll do it.
That's 1. And then we're gonna get, so that's 2 hits total, right? Or that's 2 damage total. And then my second shot, I get 3. So that's 2 and 3.
Okay.
And then 4. So 2, 3, and 4.
So 2 wounds then, or 2 toughness, or sorry, 2 damage plus 3 damage plus 4.
9 altogether.
You sort of, well, wait, are you minusing a die to those tests?
I'm not scared. I'm
Oh,
fearless.
that's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. Okay, never mind. You sort of like, this purple energy you just sort of like wade through, like as if it's just like sort of like smoke. You just like are able to just sort of sift through it, and you kind of just go forward, and you just like stand right on the edge of like this river of undead that's sort of surrounding her, and you just shoot through it, and shoot at her, and you all watch as like 1, 2, and then like 3 hits her again. She falls back a little towards the mirror, and like braces herself almost against the sort of the frame of it, almost like as if she's stopping herself from going in. And she sort of pushes herself back, looking very wounded at the moment, and just sort of screeches at you, and just is like, absolutely not. This must happen. I must make it happen. And she just sort of begins to turn her attention back to the mirror to finish up whatever it is that she is doing at the moment. And she sort of just like snaps her finger, and you watch as this other creature that was standing sort of closer with the hunchback that's guiding the souls into the brazier. He sort of looks at the brazier, however you call it. Anyways, he sort of looks at all of you, and he turns his attention to you and begins to like step forward towards you all, like task forgotten. Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to do with your turn? That's it. That's all your medal, right? Okay. So it's going to be his turn. He is going to start to step forward, and he is going to. He's just gonna use his staff against Vi, against you. He's gonna step forward. What is your defense again?
My defense is average.
Your defense is average. So it is one step lower, so he has to beat a 5. One of those is going to hit, so that is a 1 plus, so that's 2 damage. As he brings his staff down and just slams it against your back, as you're trying to help your companions sort of heal up a little. And he smacks it against the back of your back, and sort of like brings it back. It looks like this little frail guy, but it packed quite a punch. And you kind of feel the effects of it, but you kind of shake it off a little. So
does armor count, or is it?
Yeah, your armor. What is your armor?
1 point.
Okay.
Managed to hit it on the leather straps.
So you take just 1 toughness.
She uses her reflexes and tries to spin out of the way and doesn't get quite all the way out of the way.
Yeah. You like move, and he just like clocks you on the shoulder where your leather strap isn't there. And that is going to be it for his turn. Flora, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Is he close enough for me to hit him?
Oh yeah, easily.
Okay. Then yeah, I will just take 1 strike toward him for my first thing. And my my melee is good.
His defense is average, so
I have to get a 3.
3.
That is 5 successes. Ooh, so that is 7 damage. Wait, do I have to subtract a die?
Yes. Is it a full die, or is it just -1?
When Kelly was reading the rules, she said 1 less die for all tests. So,
Yeah, so it would be 4
Yeah.
successes. So
4 successes.
6 damage.
Okay. You come in with the sword, and you just slice down, and you cut his hand that's holding the staff just like clean off. And he like just sits there, and he like sort of like yells a little as he like holds his stump closer to him, and just looks at you in fear. He looks very hurt, like his blood is just sort of like gushing out of this wound now. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Yeah, I would like to, kind of like I did outside before, spend a medal to head over to Altia and just say, "You had my back, it's only fair I have yours." And I would like to basically like act as cover for Altia, since it's like, you know, a range sort of thing. I would like to take any incoming attacks if possible.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Okay, absolutely. You're able to do that, and as you sort of step over, Ember, what are you doing?
So, what's going on with the man?
The man is holding his once was an arm there that was holding a staff, a stump of an arm now.
Is he still in the game though, or is
he's
he
still in the
taking a
game?
pause?
He's still in the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I look at him and I say, like I brandish my my warhammer, and I say, "No way to treat ladies." no. And like I rush up to him. Oh, I can't move. Right?
No, you can.
I can move.
You
Okay.
can't move closer to the object of your
banshee.
fear.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So
So
you're
I
fine.
run up to him then. I'm
Okay.
thrilled to go up to him. Having a great day. And I look at him and I'm like, no way to treat ladies. And I go ahead and I try to like lash out with my axe. Actually, sorry, lash out with my Warhammer at him to try and just like clang him in his face if I can.
Absolutely. So he has a average defense. So whatever what do you have? Good.
I have good, yes.
Okay. So you just have to hit a 3.
3?
for success.
And
I'm
remember
rolling
to use
4.
one less dice.
One less die.
Yes, I'm not getting my my extra die. I'm just gonna roll my body. Oh no. I have to get a 4.
Mhm.
Oh.
Oh no, sorry, 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have both focus and training in this. So I have 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that? 2 plus what damage?
So that is going to be 2 plus 1, so 3. But I would like
Okay.
to spend my medal if that's okay.
To do what? Out of curiosity.
Can I hit him again?
You don't even have to. You
Okay.
come in and you just like go to like just he becomes like a little puddle of ooze as you just like slice into him, and he was barely holding himself together. Like he just very much was like he just is like on his last leg. And as his body falls, you watch as this you watch the spectral blue form of him just rise from his body and get sucked into that river of souls that is ahead of you. Yeah.
I kind of shake like the gore off of the end of my hammer, and kind of like put it back on my shoulder and like turn around. And like as I turn around and I look back at this banshee, like I start to feel that fear start to lift a little bit. Like I'm really determined, and I'm ready to go defend my folk.
Yes, absolutely. You begin to feel the effects of that frightened sort of like fall off of you as you end your turn. We are back up to the top. Altea, you are frightened, which means you just have minus 1 die to any test that you make. Just a reminder.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and use Star Faded Arrow again.
Okay.
I don't think I didn't actually look. Is there a limit on talents? How many times you can use them?
On talent?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. I just wanted to be sure. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use that again, so that my damage can ignore armor on the
Okay.
Banshee.
Very nice.
I'm only gonna roll 4 instead of 5. What do I need to hit? I have good accuracy.
You need to so you do 3.
So that's all successes. So I have 4 plus
Okay.
1, 5 damage.
5 damage. You sort of bring this arrow up, and you feel a little frightened of her. But with Flora beside you, you feel a little bit like bolstered, almost as you look her like this banshee dead in the eye as she turns away and goes back to her book to begin to like recite more from the ritual. And you watch as this sort of arrow sweeps through the river and just like hits her straight in the back, sort of towards the like neck area, and just sinks in there. And she sort of just like howls for a second, and you watch as her hand sort of like drops a little, like as if she's like a little like looking really hurt. And she brings it back up very slowly, but you can see that she's starting to slump over a little, almost like as if she is having difficulty keeping herself up to continue this.
And then I'm gonna turn to Flora and I'm gonna say, thanks for the backup. And then that's my turn. I don't have any more metal.
Absolutely. So it's going to be her turn. She is going to turn back at you all now, as she's sort of like using the last bit of life of her, quote unquote, she's a banshee. Anyways, she's going to attack you, Flora. As she sort of you watch that streak of purple energy strike towards you. You can't tell if it was meant for you or Altea, but you feel confident that whatever happens, you're going to take the brunt of this. And she is going to roll for that. That is
Like all the counting. I'm sorry.
that is 8 damage.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good to go.
Okay. So you watch as this burst of energy just hits you straight in the chest, and you feel this energy sort of seep into the like cracks of your bark, and you feel it start to eat away at something inside of you. You almost feel like that sort of feeling of that connection to the like the Earth Mother. You sort of start to feel fade a little in this moment, but you sort of shake it off. But it really did like it did a number on you. So you're just sitting there.
I think cinematically too, Flora sprouts like a few flowers to cover up the ugly parts that just happened. Like just a few little flowers. Like it's fine. Everything's fine.
I'll tell you, you're the closest to Flora, so you watch these beautiful like little flowers sort of prop up a little. Yeah. She is then going to
Don't be nice, Kaz.
Yeah, do it.
I
Hit me
know,
again.
I'm sorry, girl. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna use it again. So that is 6 more damage against you. Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you at right now?
I had 2 left.
Okay. So
Correct.
you have 2 wounds.
Right?
Yes.
So you take a serious wound. So you fill
Okay.
2 spaces on the wound track.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
As she sees like sort of like she can tell that you're sort of like on the like precipice. And she sort of just reaches out again and blasts another arcane bolt into you. And it hits you again in that same spot. And those flowers start to like wither a little bit as you're sitting there. And you feel very like you start to slump a little. And I'll tell you, you see this and you try to like grow another flower and it just like withers in the same spot. Like you are unable to do anything about it at the moment. And she just like cackles like maniacally as she looks at all of you.
So, question.
Yeah.
So, do I mark? Like, how do I mark that on my account?
So you have a wounds tracker, and so you'll take 2. You'll cross off 2.
Okay.
You are.
Okay. So this being like a serious wound, I don't mark it any differently.
No.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic.
It would just be like, so if you took your toughness is 0 and you only took 1 damage, that's like a minor wound, but you still
Okay.
mark it off. And the serious is like +2. If you suffer more than 5 of damage, then you would have a deadly wound, which is 3 spaces of wounds. So
Gotcha.
yeah. She just like cackles very loudly, and that is going to be it for her turn. Vi, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Well, Flora, can you hang in there? And I can't answer that. But...
Flora just thumbs up.
Oh,
Well then, Captain Typhoon, would you like to enter for me, and I'll take the thing and inscribe a rune of Cain and empower it with metal. So now you're doing +8. And since she only got 1 medal back, that was the only thing she... Yes, that's her action and medal. She's done.
All right, right on. So, Captain Alistair takes a moment to like look at the engraving, or look at the inscription rather, and you hear like real soft thanks, and then
It just says to you with bloody murder.
and so he raises his pistol. And is the brother, what's his name, around?
Oh, the other, he was slain by Ember.
He got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right. I thought he got.
did.
I just making sure. I didn't know. All right, cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fire. And off the table. What did I need to get?
So you are doing. So she has average. I'm assuming your accuracy is good, correct?
No, it's average.
It's average.
So I need to
Okay,
go
so
4 or higher?
4.
Okay, so I did 2 harm just now, with a 6 and a 4, so 10 altogether, and then on that shot, and then do I need to bother with another shot?
Vi says, what did you say, to you with murder? And yeah, okay, so Vi says that, and you feel like this just like angry like boil within you as you stand there, and you are just like, yeah, no, or we're taking her down, and you just level that weapon at her, and she looks at you, and you just shoot it straight between like what would be her eyes, but there's not really much there in that sunken face, and you watch as her head gets like blasted back, and she suddenly gets sucked into this realm gate. And as she does, you watch this grimoire sort of like fall from her hand, and she just gets sucked in. And suddenly you watch as this realm gate swirls a little, and then suddenly it like pulsates for a second, and then like you just watch as it suddenly just sucks itself in, and you watch as the souls begin to like suck in themselves as well. And it's just like all this energy is just like going back into the space. And before suddenly there's just like this cloud of black, and then it just like darkness in the room. As you have managed to absolutely destroy the heck out of her. You all sit here in this dark room as this sort of unsettling quiet overtakes you. You all look at one another. Flora, you quite near death as you're standing there and breathing very heavily. And you sort of hear shouts in the halls behind you as people begin calling out for companions and colleagues and begin their head count as you all are in this room. Yes, Vi.
When she gets a moment, when we're all in the darkness, she will again just call on her blood magic, and in sort of homage to Flora, she will do the healing again, but this time as it boils up and out, it lights the room very, very minorly in red again, but as a flower that unfurls. And we'll see how much healing everybody gets.
Okay. I love that. Flora, you feel like the spark within you as you watch this flower bloom, this like bright red flower in that energy. And you feel a little bit of yourself starting to come back. Just from the sight of it alone.
So that is 3 + 4 of soul. That's 7 toughness back to everybody.
So what does that mean with wounds?
So with wounds, it really...
they take longer to heal.
They just take a little bit longer to heal. So you would probably...
So basically, do I have my toughness back but still have those wounds?
You still have those
wounds. That's
wounds,
awesome.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So like you feel a little bit of yourself starting to come back a little. You feel a little bit of that resilience again, and you can sort of grow a little bit of a flower where the sort of bolts of arcane energy hit at you, but the gaps of them can't close as quickly. You have a feeling that you might have scars from that going forward, as they take a little bit longer to heal. You all manage to sort of gather amongst one another. You step out of this space, very like thoroughly chilled a little from just the amount of souls that were in that space and that undead. And you step out and you see Brother Andor sort of like running down the hallway, breathing very heavily again as he's looking at all of you, and looks like as if for confirmation that you all were able to do what it was that you could do in that space.
Yes, Altia led us to victory, I think. And Ember, I really appreciate your bloody Warhammer.
I appreciate everything about you.
It leaves such a ruination behind it.
Alistair,
See Ember like...
Sorry, but I didn't mean to overstep. I
Oh, no,
apologize. Alistair looks at brother, what's his name, and says, and he gestures, not just a little nod. He makes a grand gesture, toward Flora, and he says, "Your trouble cost my friend much. What recompense will you make?"
Is it healing that you need? We have some of the finest healers here in the university. We can...
Gold would go farther.
Gold? Yes. Okay. I can give you some money. Yes, I can do some of that. I can promise you some of the finest guards to escort you out of Brightspear whenever you're ready. Anything else? And he sort of rambles on for a second, sort of like trying to figure out what exactly it is that you want. And then he goes, how much do you believe your services were worth today?
I point with my hand axe at him, and I say, "Wizard, you and I both know our skills here saved Brightspear. We are surely worth healing and gold, much gold, much healing."
Absolutely. I will. He sort of like motions. You see this little scrawny, little boy, near, like watching all of you, and he goes, "Please, will you please, go get, the key, to our storage so that we may gather some gold. And I will take you all down to the healers immediately. Please, we will get you some food and some nice rest, and we can go from there." And he sort of looks at you, Altea, and he goes, "As long as that would serve you and your party well, I believe."
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to think this whole time too, like while Alistair and Ember's voices are louder than Flora's. Flora's just been like, "I'm fine, really, I'm okay. Everything's all right," but they're just so much louder that it's just like a background drum. It's no trouble at all.
Andrew keeps looking at you very anxiously, and he's like, Are you sure?
I have no leaves anymore. Like
the leaves that have been on you just have fallen at this point. You do look like there's like some broken branches around you.
You're 8.5 feet tall.
Unacceptable. No. Unacceptable.
But he goes, please come. And he guides you all towards what would be a sort of like hospital of sorts, as he leads you in, and he lets you all sit. Flora, he immediately has someone, a healer, attend to you, and she is this very kind looking elf. She has bright green hair and large tipped ears, and she looks at you, and when she uses her magic, it is that sort of green magic that you are very used to seeing, that very naturey magic, as she begins to heal you, and you will, it doesn't matter at the moment, but you will remove one of those wounds for the time being. As you all sort of, you feel like this sort of, wet blanket has been lifted off of you. The night was very much not what you probably expected coming in here. And you all sit in this area, some of you at a table, Flora at a bed, sort of being attended to. Drinks are brought to you, food of many kinds, and large bags of gold are brought to you. Like at least like the size, like this, like large each for each of you, as you all take that gold. And he goes, we raided as much as we could. It's going to offset us a couple scholarships this year, but I figure it will be just fine. And he sort of just sits down with you all. And you all see sort of this light begin to, what was once like this sort of green fog area around you. You feel like a little bit of the warmth of a sunrise beginning to sort of warm your backs. As you all sort of sit there and recognize that while Brightsphere is now very vulnerable to some attacks, in the future, they have lost, there's the heavy weight of many citizens lost. But for now, you are all safe, and you have stopped a larger problem than you probably truly realize. You have stopped the unknown realm gate in Brightspear from unleashing hordes of undead against this realm. And only time will tell where the next threat will take you. And that is where we're going to end for tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like clapping.
Yeah, that was awesome.
This has been Crossroads Chronicles, Season 1, Volume 1, Hell of a Night. Let's now go around and kind of talk about who each of the players are just for like, where can we find you? What do you do? Or just, you know, what kind of games have you played? Have you ever played this before? Whatever you want to say. The floor is entirely yours. Yeah, you want to just go in order, or? You're like, no, not really.
In initiative order?
Who's that
Yeah.
order?
Initiative
Does Kaz have
order.
more to
Initiative
say?
order.
I don't want to
Altea.
say Kaz if they still have stuff.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm not first, so
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I guess I'll go. I don't do anything anymore. I used to have a podcast, but we don't do that anymore. So I unfortunately don't really have much to promote here. But you can find me at it's pronounced Caramel Coffee on Twitter, but it's CARXMEL Coffee, where I just play and scream about tabletop RPGs all the time and anime. So that's all I've got for you. So next.
That was aggressive.
that was very aggressive.
I'm much the same way. I really don't do an awful lot. You can find me as K Parrish on Twitter. More or less just a virtual cheerleader. I enjoy watching and helping everybody promote their stuff. So look for me there.
I'm Doug. You can find me on Twitter at DougGBQ and on the podcast Good Better Quest. I'm on the podcast more than I'm on Twitter.
Fair. I'm assuming you know me because this is my channel, but Carrie Smith 2012 is where you can find me on basically any platform, and I do a bunch of stuff, and that's all I have to say today. So there's that. Next.
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 That's me. I've been Ember Lothnir. I'm Candace Magnificent. My pronouns are she, they. You can find me on a variety of places, including at Valor Studios, VALORE, and at Todd Moonbounce, as well as this channel now. So that's very exciting for me. I don't know what I'm doing that is approved to talk about. So I'm just going to let you know, because I have a habit of just ruining everything. So I'm just going to instead say, please follow me at that Candace girl on Twitter. And at Candace the Magnificent, all one word, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Twitch. On Twitch, I like to do video game streams sometimes, usually of like chill games, sometimes of beat 'em ups or stealthy type things, lots of indies. If you are interested in ukulele music, I do some cover song show things as well. And on YouTube, I do reviews of stuff, namely ice cream and TTRPG products. So please check me out. And if you want to see me in other stuff, just like hit me up on Twitter, because that's where I post all the stuff. Great.
Amazing. Kaz, do you have anything else to add?
Oh shoot! I forgot I was a person. Hi. I'm Kaz. I already said it, but you can find me on Twitter at the Mini Arcanist. I also stream on Twitch. I am a miniature painter, in case it wasn't obvious by the minis down here. Yeah, that takes up a lot of my time at the moment. But I also do a lot of cool TTRPG things. I will. Can I say this? Be an Outbreak Undead.
Yeah.
You can cut that out. No, I will be an Outbreak Undead when it premieres later in the fall. I'm super stoked. I've also been in Call of Cthulhu. I've been literally in almost everything on Carrie's channel, and it's been a huge delight. You can also find me on Todd Moonbounce's channel. I've been on a lot of stuff on that recently too. Gosh. Yeah, that's about it. I am hopefully taking it a little bit easier by the time that this airs. So the hope is I can focus a little bit more on miniature painting and myself. So yeah, but it has been a huge delight to DGM for you all. Be the master of souls. And it's been wicked fun, and I hope everyone else had a lot of fun too.
It was a blast.
Sorry, I absolutely zoned thinking of how people
Mustaches?
Yeah.
Just thinking
Glasses.
about people.
People.
You're just waiting for the GM to kick in gear.
Sometimes I'm
Just
sitting around thinking about people.
thinking about people.
It's like they're everywhere.
We look something in Kaz.
You can't escape them.
Okay, how tall are you IRL?
Not 9 feet.
Okay, but how tall?
Yes,
I want to know if I'm taller than you.
I think
feel-
you are. I
I've
think
never
we've
been
been
taller
through
than
this.
anybody.
I think we've been through this, and I'm pretty sure you're taller than
Okay,
me.
how about I just tell you I'm 5'4".
Yeah, you're taller than me.
Okay.
Carrie, cut that out. Anyways.